Hola, mi gente. Am I underdressed? You sexy, sexy beast. Am I underdressed, gentlemen? Wait a minute now. Y'all are both looking like, the guy that decides to take the little Bronx girl out as a novelty. That's how I feel right now. Okay. That's how I feel right now. I'm going to get comfortable anyway. Okay. Damn it. You're on the block. Okay. Over here looking like the damn undercover police. I've seen y'all before. Live upstate New York and shit. Hi, gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I am Jen, your favorite YouTube bad girl and devil's advocate. You can reach me on all social media platforms. On the Block with Jen everywhere: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. On the Block with Jen at Gmail if you want to contact me for business or a collab. I actually got a collab offer today for the vibrators, for the Rose vibrators. I was like, do I look like I use those? But of course, I responded. You told me everything you want. I don't hear this, so till you reply with this. I don't mean no speaking English. No comprendo. Okay. If you want a collab, as far as me promoting something that you sell or own, that we need this. Okay. And speaking of money, if you want to support the show after Mama is offline, Cash App On the Block with Jen as well. So I'm on the Block with Jen all across the universe for business and what have you. And if you just want to take a peek at me on Instagram, On the Block with Jen as well. And that's also if you want to be discreet with your cash. A lot of people don't like other people seeing where their money goes. That's what Cash App is for. And it's really cool to get a Cash App after I'm offline. It shows me extra love. Okay. That means you caught the replay and was like, let me throw some chips Shorty's way. If not, throw it in a super chat. We will pull it up on the screen and we will dissect it. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves because listen, I hope we have fluff. If not, let's get right into this because there's a lot to cover if there's no fluff. Okay. If there's no fluff, that's fine. So gentlemen, let the people know where to find you. And I'm happy to see you guys are a sight for sore eyes, I must say. Cheers.
Musician and music producer Heron DeMarco. You can find me here on YouTube under Heron DeMarco. You can find me under Dangerous DeMarco on IG, and you can find me as Heron DeMarco under Spotify and Apple Music.
Hello, everyone. I am Saint. I am no saint. I am Saint No Saint. I'm Saint No Saint at Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and you can find me here on the Block with Jen on a nightly basis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And FYI, yet again, let us inform you, Lily of Y Be Limited, the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited, is still traveling. She should be landing soon, but we're giving Mama the night off because I'm like, you're going to be hella jet lagged. You know what I mean? So just get your rest tonight. Hopefully she will be back with us tomorrow and back in working order. I look kind of cute though, right? I look kind of cute.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Kinda.
thank you. This is why you eat last, No Saint. This is why you eat last, okay? What's up, Mr. Unicorn?
Like a New Yorker, No Saint.
Right? You hear this? It's okay.
Guys are rubbing off.
Yes, we are. No Saint, I was thinking about you. I was like, you should get one of these, but like your whatever your town is, your team or whatever, because this was easy to like deal with. So maybe you could do that, and you can take.
I could do that. I can do that. Yeah. No, the fleur-de-lis is the signature of the state, not just of a team. So, yeah.
And you was born and raised, right, in New Orleans?
Yes.
Oh, so even better. Yeah. So you really repping.
Yes.
Okay. Good to see you, fellas. Do we?
I can do that though. I can do that.
Yeah,
for sure. I want fluff. Listen, that sounds pause.
No,
maybe not. I don't know.
You naughty boy.
But I'm constantly scanning, especially when it's 95 degrees outside and 100% humidity. I'm constantly scanning, looking for stuff, and maybe something will pop up in my head that I saw today. But right now, I'm drawing a blank. I don't have anything specifically to bring out.
Okay. I got my wish a bitch would Wednesday pen with me. So be careful. Be careful. Listen, if there's no fluff, I will set this to subscribers only and we can get right on into it, hun.
I will say one thing though, that that shades the frame company that reached out to me that I showed you. You know what I mean? I actually thought about it for a second until I saw those goddamn frames. Them shits was ugly as fuck.
Haran, I'm going to teach you something about modeling.
I'm not there. Okay, this is obviously a sidebar conversation.
Okay, fine. We can sidebar
I
it.
can
We
already
can
see
sidebar.
where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Okay, you know where I'm going. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, I know where you're going with it, and you
You
already can see the stubbornness happening. So let's just get
And I'm
into
like,
this.
all right, it's business. So with that said, I'm sorry, guys. We have to jump right into this. And can I get a little credit for I'm just getting better and better at these thumbnails. Can I get a little credit here?
Pretty good. Yeah,
Can I get a little credit here?
That's pretty
That was not easy to do, okay? I got it done. So my goodness, this is big news, okay? Carlee Russell turned out to be a hoax. Boo. Turned out to be. Yeah, there you go. Carlee Hustle. I like that. So Carlee Hustle, yeah, man, turned out to be a hoax, a pretty big hoax. Did you guys watch the press conference?
I did not.
No, I did not.
Well, I have all the deets. Don't worry. I got you. I got all the deets, and the deets are even better than fiction. They are.
I'm sure.
There are. So the police department had to do a press conference because, everybody is like, what the fuck is going on? We prayed. We spoke in tongues. We were out there searching. We had dogs and helicopters and, body heat. Yeah, we had body heat, detectors. And, they were out there. People were out there. And it was unprecedented. We've never seen a missing Black woman searched for like this. So it was amazing. I mean, she scared all of us. If you're a mother, it's like, it's a punch to the gut because you're just thinking of a mother, losing her child, and her mother was on TV with the tears, and we were all in there. We were in there, bated breath, like, please, find this woman alive, and that toddler, right? So turns out Carlee Russell is no longer speaking to the police department. She refuses. Her parents did go on a talk show, and they were doing the Jussie Smollett support.
Talk show.
Right. Yeah, they went on a talk show, and they were like, talking just like Jussie Smollett's family members. No, we believe it happened. Just give our baby some time, and we believe. And and the reporter was like, "So do you believe someone is still out there? Like the person that?" Yes, the person's still out there somewhere. So they're sticking to their story. Although little Miss Hustle, she refuses to speak to the cops any longer, which is not going to prevent her from being charged, right? Because this was big. A lot of resources were used, and the PD, okay? Police don't like being fucked with, all right? And they used a lot of, one of the reporters asked in the press conference, how many man hours were used, how many resources? And he was like, we haven't calculated that yet, but I guarantee they got the calculators out. All right. So, pretty fucked up for many, many reasons, not just because, she lied to her parents, but a lot of people were invested. So I'm going to give you a couple of the details because as I was listening to the press conference, I was jotting down notes so I don't misquote. And guys, if you want to cam up and you have more information, feel free. The link is in the chat. The block rule. No monkey ass fool, okay? But you're more than welcome to come up here and discuss this or any experience you may have had or anything that we don't know. So at the press conference, it was said by the detectives in the police department, this woman stole from her job. She took a bathrobe and then she made another stop and she got some Cheez-Its and granola bars and she was on her way. On the road, as you guys know, she dialed 911 first and told them that there was a toddler on the road, a little boy in a diaper, just walking. And she wasn't going to get out the car and go to the boy. She was going to follow him in her car, right? So when they investigated how far her car drove following this toddler, who was about 3 or 4 years old, they calculated she drove 600 yards. So she claimed to be following this toddler, but she drove 600 yards. So that would mean that the toddler walked 600 yards all by himself on a freeway, right? So they got that. Now, here's what I thought was the most hilarious. What did Carlee Google on the way to her abduction? You're going to love this. So on the way to her own self-abduction, Carlee Googled the movie Taken, right? She also Googled, can you pay? Why you look like a frustrated dad, Heron? She also Googled, can you pay for an Amber Alert? Can you pay for an Amber Alert? She also Googled, how old do you have to be for an Amber Alert? In other words, what age is too old for an Amber Alert? So Carlee was doing some Googling, right? Trying to find out all about abductions, right? And Amber Alerts and what have you. So according to her, she was kidnapped. She went to go see what was wrong with the toddler. Finally, she gets out the car. She goes to go see, oh, what's wrong with the toddler? And this white man appears out of nowhere with orange hair, balding, grabs her, lifts her over the gate along with the toddler. I guess he had the toddler in one hand and her in the other. Lifts her over the gate, throws her in an 18-wheeler truck. Now she's in an 18-wheeler truck where a strange white woman who she did not remember seeing fed her Cheez-Its. Could it be the same Cheez-Its that she bought at the gas station? We don't know. Maybe they'll do some DNA on the Cheez-Its, see where the Cheez-Its came from. But according to Carlee, a strange woman was feeding her Cheez-Its in the 18-wheeler truck. And when asked, were you bound? Were you gagged? She said, no, I wasn't bound because my kidnapper said he didn't want to leave any marks on me. Nicest kidnappers ever.
I mean, they're giving out fucking snacks. They're
snacks and
they're violent with the abduction though. They throw you over the shoulder and
strong guy.
Violent with that shit, but once that's over, this is where the relaxation and the pampering begins. Wow.
Right, a strong guy. I gotta say, because she's not a small girl. She's not me. Right? She's not like 120 pounds.
Sounds like Carrot Top. Sounds like a Asian Carrot Top grabbed her and.
Right over the shoulder. And the toddler. You're forgetting he had the toddler as well.
Yes, the toddler who walked 600 yards.
Yes.
Kid.
The super toddler. The super toddler. And walked a straight line. He didn't even walk into the street or fall or sit. No, super toddler walked 600 yards. So she said that she didn't get to see the woman, but she did hear the voice of the woman and she heard the voice of a child.
Tristan said it was Penny Lies.
What? So he was waving the Cheez-Its? He was waving the Cheez-Its instead of the balloon?
But listen, I got to give credit. Shout out to the reverse Susan Smith. You got me? You got me, Jen?
I hope we're not talking about the Susan Smith.
No, I'm just really. Oh my God.
She reversed it. She said
she did.
White people kidnapped.
Right.
Shout out to the reverse Susan Smith.
Right. So
gotta give us some credit for that.
Okay, so she's not the first. We're gonna get into Tawana Brawley in a minute. Yes. So okay, let's continue the abduction. In the 18-wheeler truck, getting fed Cheez-Its, right? Not even thrown Cheez-Its, like, here, bitch, eat so we could keep you alive. No. Fed Cheez-Its, right? They fed her Cheez-Its, such these nice kidnappers. She don't remember what the woman looks like. She didn't see her. She just heard the child and the woman while she was getting fed Cheez-Its. She escapes the 18-wheeler truck. She escapes.
There's an 18-wheeler truck. There's no
18-wheeler truck.
There's no tracks left behind of this 18-wheeler truck, though.
18-wheeler. Oh, no. But the plot thickens. You thought that was it? No. She escapes the 18-wheeler truck, and then someone in a car nabs her.
This is a very lucky and unlucky woman.
Very. So they grab her, and they put her in the car, and they're kidnapping her in the car. She doesn't remember who it was. And then she escapes the car.
I mean, she's just, I mean.
Sounds like an episode of The Matrix.
I mean, it sounds like, I'm not, shit.
Maybe she is the one.
You know, look, man, Liam Nielsen's daughter could have took some lessons from this broad. Right. Because she knows how to get out of a situation.
Mm-hmm. She also Googled how to take, literally, this was in her Google search, how to take money from a register and not get caught. She also bought a bus ticket. So this goes on and on. This girl had quite a night, quite a 40, whatever, 9 hours or whatever. So when they found the car, they found her purse, her cell phone, and her wig. Honey took off her wig for that adventure. But the snacks were not there. So I'm guessing she took the snacks with her on this adventure, right? Because she was going to get hungry. If you're going to abduct yourself, you may get hungry along the way. So you're going to need a granola bar or two, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So that is what happened thus far. She refuses to speak to the police at this point. The police do want to speak to her. Eventually, I think they're going to knock on the door. Come on out, Miss Russell. Her parents are sticking to the script. You know, which is when you think of the insanity and the crazy surrounding this case, where it's like, you know, your parents are not like, look, the jig is up. I don't know why she did this, and just play the insanity thing. Say she had a meltdown or something, right? There's so many ways to get away from, you know, this idiocy that she did. Why they're continuing to lie for her, lie with her, it's bizarre. It's a little white, if you ask me, but I digress. It's a little bizarre. It's not something you're used to seeing from people of color. I'll say that. So after hearing all those details, gentlemen, what say you?
Black women are going to have to take this L. They're going to have to take the L on this one. They're going to have to take. I'm sorry, sis. Y'all going to have to take the L on this one, because here's the thing. I'm gonna bring up hip hop for a second.
Oh, how we get? I don't have a hip hop bell, but since you started early with the race, let's get it in.
Walk with me.
I'm gonna walk with you 600 yards. Go on.
Yes. You got hip hop for decades. It was called misogynistic. It was called. It was degrading the women. It ruined the female psyche. Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And the moment the mic was given to you, the spotlight, the press, the media, the moment you were put in front of the men, behaved like whores. You supported whores. Now, in this moment, the black woman is the most least protected woman. The black woman, no one looks for black women. Now, a red state shut shit down. Red state shut shit down. Said, hey, we're gonna put our differences aside and we're gonna go look for this black woman. We're gonna get all our best people on it. You lied. You fucking lied. You literally, nobody wants to admit this, but you literally set back the idea of looking for black missing women a good 100 fucking years. Yeah, I'll say it. A good 100 fucking years. And you know what? Here's the thing. I've gone online and I just sat back and I just watched this shit. And sisters are divided on this. But there's a good number of women who have sat there and said they're going to show this woman crazy. They're going to say they're going to give her the mental illness defense, which white people often give shooters.
Yeah.
You know, male shooters the mental illness defense.
Yeah.
We're going to give this woman the mental illness defense, and we're going to give her grace and yada yada. When a couple of weeks ago, a young black man, was getting dragged in his relationship because he felt because he said whatever he wanted to say. He was dragged all up and down the goddamn block, so on and so forth. And the moment when women need to be held themselves accountable on the grand stage, black women in particular, run. You make up all kinds of excuses as to why you should not be held accountable. And this is why so many brothers have so much disdain for dealing with a lot of black women. And a lot of brothers, the reason why I'm so hard on you is because I understand that. I understand where that comes from. But you see, you don't understand something. It's not going to change. So your only weaponry is to not put yourself in certain situations, is to arm yourself, is to take care of yourself. Because let me tell you something. If there's one thing a black woman will do is die on a hill. And I'll leave it at that.
So I found it interesting that so, and I think it's split, right? A lot of black women are like, oh, she full of shit. We knew she was lying. Black men are definitely all on one side, like the bitch was lying, blah, blah, look at black women. And then, but the other split to me is interesting because it's very convenient, right? When she was missing, it's like, oh, find her, it's a black woman. And now that she's not, she's like, so, people are like, so what happened? Like, mind your business, put your energy in something else. And I was like, oh, you can't have it both ways. That's not how it works. Why do people want it both ways? But let me ask you something. You did throw in some Malcolm X. You said the most disrespected, unprotected. Do you not think that that's the case in this country?
Oh, absolutely. But my thing is like this. Knowing that y'all all got to be on code, man.
Okay.
Or at least enough of you got to be on code, because when prime time hits, when shit like this happens, you're giving people who don't give a fuck more fuel. You're giving them an argument. You don't give racist bigots and people who don't want to do anything in the first fucking place arguments, man. You don't give them a reason to say, nah, fuck that. Because they're always looking for a reason to say, nah, fuck that. And this is going to reverberate, man. And we can sit here and say, you know, it was just a local case and we shouldn't paint such a broad brush. This is human beings. We're talking human nature. We all paint broad brushes. Let's cut the shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
absolutely.
All white people aren't fucking racist, but god damn it, when you think of a fucking racist, you think of a white man. Okay?
Yeah, we just say white people. We don't even use we don't even do this with white people. We just say white people. Right.
Exactly.
But when you say that about any other ethnicity, Puerto Ricans, Latins, black people, if you don't do this, right, they piss their pants. They piss on themselves. No, not all of us. Right. But when we say white people, we say white people in general. We don't say some, not all. So the hypocrisy is seeping. Oh, my Vegatron's coming out swinging. Believe all black women. Believe them all. Believe them all. Manny Lynn says she is a student and was to be educated, but it doesn't set the black community back at all. This is a single event.
Okay.
Oh, my Vegatron says I'll help the Alabama PD walk her to her cell. Oh, so he's in there. He's an escort to the cell.
Of course, though, like I said, Jen, though, at some point in time, this is going to be black men's fault.
I'm sure it'll spin the block to that. Tristan says, my biggest issue with this entire situation are the resources used to find her, which was taken away from a potential real kidnapped victim. Feel free to super chat me, fellas. Okay. No Saint, what say you? I muted your mic because that shit is too loud in my headphones.
You wanted me to get a mic, okay? I got
a mic. You don't hear that. I got a mic.
You don't have AC. You don't have AC.
I got the AC is on right now. Literally. That's why I'm up here.
Not a good one. She's got one of them cheap ACs.
Yeah, okay. Or maybe you got a cheap mic.
That might
be one or the other. It's one or the
other. That's a possibility. To what Tristan said, I mean, yeah, that's every fake accusation that anybody makes is wasting resources. I mean, that's nothing new. And to the other comment, I disagree that it should be that this shouldn't reflect on everybody, but that's what we do. I mean, just what they were saying just a few minutes ago. Unfortunately, when Jesse Smollett thing happened, then the next thing that happened, people were calling it Jesse Smollett, and it's a totally different situation, right? So yeah, it's a shame that, and kind of, if you want to be conspiracy theorists, this is the one they covered. This is the black woman they covered, and so
What you mean they covered?
No, when people say, "Oh, they're finally covering a missing black child," and this is the one.
This is the one.
This is the one.
You're saying that they know
all the whites. No, listen.
Like they were like, wait, we got some video here on the interstate. This ain't. Let's get him out there, Bob. Take your news van out. We're gonna cover this one.
Right. It's like now the whites are gathering together. See, now we can say we won't do that again. Right?
It's just a small conspiracy theory I want to throw out there.
Hey,
but
listen.
Yeah, it's I don't know what her motive is. That's interesting. I don't know if that'll ever come out, what her motive is, if she ever admits what she did. I'm interested to know why. Like, was it just for, just she thinks she'd get away with it and getting some, a lot of attention? I don't know.
So there's speculation. Yeah. There was speculation because now people are leaking her DMs. She was DM fighting with another woman who her boyfriend cheated with. Yes, the same boyfriend. Yes. The same boyfriend that was like, oh, she was fighting for her life for 48 hours. So allegedly some DMs have leaked and she was cursing some woman out, talking about, you ain't half of me. You poor, you this, you ugly, blah, blah. And he was just he was having fun with you and blah, blah. So, could it have been a thing where it's like she wanted to get her boyfriend's attention? Like, look, this can happen to me. Like, you'll miss me when I'm gone. And she actually... You know what I mean? Because this was very planned. We're Googling Amber Alerts and can we pay for an Amber Alert? And she's Googling Taken. And, she's looking at bus tickets.
Yeah, we've got to be in a spot now where, when you're Googling stuff, if something goes wrong, they're going to know everything you searched. I mean, that's not like incognito doesn't mean they can't find it. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like everybody even the serial killer up in New York, Googling different stuff, following the case. I mean, you're just giving them more evidence. But that could be a possibility. And maybe she thought they wouldn't cover it. Maybe she said it. They ain't gonna cover this.
She was like, I'm black. I could get away with it. I just get my boyfriend's attention.
She said, I get my boyfriend's attention, local police, misdemeanor or something. I'll be like,
right.
I just want to say something real quick. It's so funny how this is why human beings are so fascinating. Because in the chat right now, so many of you are understanding the importance of differentiating yourself from what this woman did. You're saying that, oh, no, it's not on the black community. It's just on her. But you see, when I sit here and be like, I ain't with these niggas, all of a sudden I'm uppity. All of a sudden I'm on some other shit. No, I'm differentiating that what they do is on them. What I do is on me. But you see, in this situation, because clearly, someone was in the wrong and you don't see the ramifications and how this can reverberate across the community, you're adamant about, nah, that's them. This is me. But again, human beings are fascinating because they to see the truth when it's convenient.
When it's very convenient. Yeah, I did notice that in the chat. They're separating themselves from this, right? They're like, she's a different type of black, right? She's not part of this community, right? And it's funny because I had a debate on Facebook during the whole Keke Palmer scandal. Keke performed a couple days ago and she was her song included lyrics like I don't need these niggas, I chase a bag or something, not verbatim, something along those lines. And this dude was on Facebook. Yeah, this dude was on Facebook like really pissed off, like she said niggas, she meant black men. And I'm like, this child, because she's in her 20s, I'm like, this child okay, this child, right, is talking. She's in her bag right now. She's going through a public breakup. How did you equate her song to all of you men who are pushing 50 and 60? Like, how do you connect that? So when she says, fuck these niggas, you'll automatically throw yourself in that. But here we have a Jussie Smollett, we have a Keke Palmer, and it's like, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with us. It's not, it's her over there. It's not her. So, and I think, I keep saying it, and I told you a million times around, that separation is key. If the black community or black people, because I don't believe in a black community, but if black people want to move forward as a race, they They must. It is imperative. It is essential that they separate from their degeneracy, because they are the only race on the planet that celebrates, makes excuses for, and defends the degeneracy in their community. Latins don't do it. White people don't do it. Asian people don't do it. And you can fucking correct me if I'm wrong. Even when there's a Latin degenerate, the people that celebrate her are Black. Go look at who's celebrating Cardi B. Cardi B is a Latina. So they just wait for someone to be degenerate so they can be like, yes, girl, yes. Well, yes, girl, yes, yourself into this stereotype, because that's all you're doing. No other race or ethnicity celebrates their degeneracy like Black people do. And that's why I say separation is key. If you want to be separate from them, then you have to be very adamant that y'all are not them and they are not you. Or kumbaya and shut the fuck up when people are speaking generally, right? I said what I said. No one else does that. I say a million times here. My father was like, we're this type of Puerto Rican. We don't fuck with them over there. And he was talking about the other Puerto Ricans. That is how it is. That is how the Asians do not hang out with the Asian bums and the Asian gangs. This family, the one that has all their kids playing violin and piano and experts at math, are not hanging out in Chinatown with the poor Chinese, with the Chinese thugs. They're not over there. They're not saying our Asian community. They're not saying that. White people, affluent white people, are not hanging out in meth parks saying, well, leave the meth people alone. They are community. They don't do that. They don't do that. So are you the problem that you're complaining about? Is it you? Is it you? So now they're separating from Carlee Russell. We don't got nothing to do with that. But had that woman still been missing, the same people would have been saying, why don't you look for the Black woman? That's what would have happened. It's like, you can't have it both ways. I don't understand the insistence.
Yes, he's right. Yep, niggas love slogans and degenerate behavior. Damn right.
Not slogans.
Niggas love them a slogan.
Don't forget, you forgot acronyms. You forgot acronyms.
Slogan. Woo, baby. We love
acronyms. Acronyms and slogans. Woo! A lot of money. Thank you for the super chat, Hoop Jargon. Absolutely
man,
true. Salute to you, sir.
Head, man. Megatron is like, he wants this woman dragged to hell.
Yo, not okra. Make her pick okra. Crush rocks with a sledgehammer. And bad grammar. The list grows and grows. Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, my God. I mean, he's right, man. We love to say his name or say her name. And
right. Yeah. And it's like
we love
it's the hypocrisy, and that's why you cannot be taken seriously. You take that rapper, the porn actress, and I use actress loosely, even for a porn star, she's hot garbage. But that new rapper Sukihana, right? She's walking filth, like walking filth, living, breathing, walking filth. Right? She's like a meat bag, what they call a meat bag. It's just like walking around, right? She's out in London and she's talking about she needs to get her pussy scratched in front of all these people outside in London, and saying and doing all kinds of disgusting, vile things, right? So when a man tells her, what's good, I want to see what you about, let's go fuck something, or look at my dick. Oh my God, I feel so violated. Again, the hypocrisy of, I want it both ways. I want to be respected and protected, but then I want to show you that I can shoot piss out of my vagina and tell you that it's piss because I like peeing on myself and showing her tits. And it's like, you can't have it both ways. In a perfect world, women could do whatever they want and men would ignore it in a perfect world. But that's not the world we live in. But then, and who's making Sukihana famous? Who's upholding her and who's saying she could do what she want, to say what she want because she's a Black woman? Who you thinking? You think the Latins are doing it? You think the Asians are doing it? You think the white folks are doing it? Who do you think is doing it? And I'll pass the mic.
I honestly think that as men, especially Black men, it's been far too much time demanding that women hold themselves accountable and women carry the cross and so on and so forth. Fellas, as a man who has been in relationships with so many women, so many situations.
Okay.
Jen has known a few. Jen has known a few. I've told her a number of stories.
Yeah.
Women will not hold themselves accountable. They will duck, dodge, they bob and weave like a motherfucker. You think Ali could dodge a punch? Women will dodge some shit. And you just gonna be over there sitting there huffing and puffing. The same situation gonna be there, and you just gonna have to be left to realize either you stay or you go. That's it, man. So brothers, arm your own selves. Understand that at the end of the day, this particular situation and the fact that there's so many excuses being made should tell you that without a shadow of a doubt, again, they will die on that hill. And, I saw a black man say this earlier. Now, this motherfucker was a simp. He said, well, look what that white woman did with Emmett Till and blah, 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 and the amount of white women that lied on black men. And I was like, I knew somebody was going to use that. I knew somebody was going to use that argument. And they used it, man. They said, I don't want to hear nothing about this woman. You going to show her grace. And I'm like, wow.
No, I'm not going to show her shit.
I always say, at the end of the day, like I always say, it's never about you hating to be oppressed. Excuse me, it's never about you hating oppression. It's just about you hating being oppressed. You got no problem with people getting away with shit. You just want to get away with shit too.
Right, absolutely. There are a couple comments that are interesting in the chat. And it goes back to our stream is the Black community and matriarchy, right? Absolute 72 says, even Carlee's father was staying out the way. It was just her mother doing the talking. And Oh My Vegatron has a good point. He says, I don't think any Black men knew Suki, it's the women. And it's true, because if you go to any of her social media, it's usually women, you know what I mean, clapping her along. With that said, I see a lot of women, again, I see a lot of Black women specifically disgusted by Suki as well. So it's really, you know what I mean, on that note. But you know, even still, even with that said, it is still the other half of Black women, again, celebrating her. Same thing with Cardi B. Same thing.
I just want to say something. Might sound controversial.
Not on the block. Like some
controversial shit. But young men, your hoes are ugly. When we were coming up, we had some pretty hoes, man.
Oh, women I know what you mean. Like pop culture hoes.
There was some baddies, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Little Kim was at least cute. You know what I mean?
The old Kim, Foxy yes.
Was at least something to look at. This Sukihana broad.
She looks like Tracy Morgan in a wig. Sukihana looks like Tracy Morgan in a wig.
Gorilla, she got her eyes spread out and shit.
A hammerhead shark. She looks like a hammerhead shark with a wig on.
You know what I mean?
The sexy red. The sexy red looks like a walking cigarette. Okay.
It's like she literally does look like a Newport 100, a Lucy with glasses on. She literally does look like that shit. And like what? I guess
she does. She does. Like, Suki is the female gremlin. She does look like that thing. I know exactly which one you're talking about too.
And Lotto looks 45.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just the staple of women you got here that I don't know. At least back in the days, the quote unquote hoes, there was something to look at.
Tristan says, that I get, but nobody else concerned those same men who violated Coochie Girl want to smash Coochie Girl. Like, she looks dirty. Y'all can tell she don't wash regularly. Well, didn't she say that? I think she said that.
Yeah. She said she don't wash regularly, and she said she like peeing on herself.
Yeah.
And
there's a video on Twitter where she's like playing with herself and then she starts peeing all over herself. So this is who we're talking about. Who is celebrating this woman again?
I'm not here to kink shame. I've been known to be a freaky dude, but if I'm with a broad and man, and then she's just doing whatever, I'm like, yeah, this is, and then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this is, I don't know about this.
And the thing is, she was doing it alone. She was by herself, being by herself.
Leaking all over my couch and shit. You know what I mean? And,
Not the couch.
Like, I pay white people money for this couch, young lady.
So Black Lexicon says, if this is really faked, I want her to get help for her deep trauma. Who wants to experience that kind of fantasy and think they're going to live and tell about it? And here's the thing, like, I think with the explosion again of social media and this big emphasis on mental illness, people forgot that assholes still exist, that just regular plain liars still exist. Selfish people still exist. Every violation is not done by somebody with mental illness. This actually sounds like, yeah, I mean, and she sounds like one because she was very calculated, right? She's Googling taken. She's Googling how old you have to be to, you know what I mean, the Amber Alert. Do I have to pay for an Amber Alert? She was very calculating. She sounded like she has all her faculties. She went to buy the snacks. She knew to leave her cell phone because, you know, the cell phone pings. But she was like,
premeditated premeditated acts. The search, how she's leaving this, blah, blah, blah. This is see no saint. This is why these women be watching all these fucking serial killer fucking shows and shit like that. Because,
well, obviously she didn't watch enough.
She knows how to leave evidence a certain way, shit like that. You know what I mean? You got to watch them, no saint.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, if she really had a mental breakdown, if she really was crazy, she would have talked to them cops. But she knows not to talk to the cops because she has all her faculties. Crazy people would have got to talking. Yeah, I was in the woods. Then I keep telling you I was in the woods. She's like, no, Zip, I don't want to say anything to you anymore.
I mean, yeah, well, Tristan, look, man. Yeah, the tit for tat's going to happen at some point in time.
Black Lexicon says, why would she buy a snack when she had a whole dinner in the car? The snacks were for her travels. The dinner was for that she ate. She stayed in the car and ate that night. And then the snacks were for her travels. That's why you would do that. She knew she was going to be gone. Probably didn't know how long. And then after she ran out of snacks, you know, maybe she got hungry.
Well, she says a big girl. Let's just call it what it is. She was like, she got hungry and she had no money on her. Probably ain't no money in her bank account or whatever. Well, she didn't have enough cash on her. And she really didn't think out the plan as much as she really thought she did. And then once she realized that police was involved and there was a search happening, I think she panicked.
She heard helicopters and was like, "Oh, I did too much."
And all this shit and whatever. I think she panicked. It was like, whoa. Let me go home before this shit turned into some shit I don't need it to turn into.
She heard them ghetto birds. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah, man. Like, look, listen, man. And when I'm the kind of person, if you know, the universe forbids I'm in that kind of situation, I'm under the assumption that I'm on my fucking own. I'm thinking like, shit, I'm gonna have to get on some Jason Bourne shit. Like, all of a sudden I got incredible fighting reflexes and I don't remember.
Haran, I'll do a stream about it.
Well, I guess that's enough, right?
I'll do a stream. I'll be like, fine, Haran. Yes, Haran's life matters. Bring Haran home.
Yes.
Hashtag bring Haran home. Misty, I'm with you. I am with you, Misty. Yeah, that shit is nasty. I don't like any kinks that has to do with bodily waste. And you can't, and sperm is not bodily waste. Okay. No, I'm talking about piss and shit. Speaking of shit, they are now comparing this case to Tawana Brawley. You remember back in the 80s, Tawana Brawley, Black woman, 15, she was about 15. She lied and said that 4 police officers kidnapped her, sexually assaulted her. Nice. They found her in a garbage bag covered in feces with racial derogatory words written all over her body. They did an investigation and they were like, why are the words upside down? Who wrote this? So the words were on her body upside down, and they were like, well, who wrote this? Why'd they write them upside down?
He was writing this shit. Well, you couldn't get a friend to write it, girl. Get a friend to at least write this shit on.
So one of the police officers was actually a prosecutor, and he sued and he got $500,000 from Tawana Brawley, her advisors, and Al Sharpton was also thrown into that case. So they all had to pay that $500K. Interestingly enough, she's now.
Tristan wouldn't know. He doesn't know who the fuck we're talking about. I told you.
Google Tawana Brawley, Tristan. Google Tawana Brawley. Wow. So. Yeah, in 2020, strangely enough, in the year now they ran all over the United States trying to escape the press, and then they landed. I forgot what state they landed in, but now she's like a nurse aide somewhere. But strangely enough, in the year although this happened in the 80s, 20 years later, in the year 2020, her parents wanted to reopen the case because they insist that she was sexually assaulted by these 4 police officers.
Jesus Christ, man. Also, though, just quick thing about Tristan, you guys, especially, you got to understand, Tristan's recollection about just life period happens somewhere after the second Eminem album. He's young. You know what I mean? He doesn't know shit.
I know. I just realized that we're getting long in the tooth because
we're getting real long.
We're bringing up stuff that seems like yesterday to us,
right?
And it's just like, whoa, we don't. Yeah.
But here's the thing. This has, it's breathed new life into the Tawana Brawley case. So it's not that we're bringing it up. People are comparing this to that now. So, you got to look it up, just like we look up stuff that happened before we was alive.
Right.
Yeah, if you're interested, sure.
Yeah, if they're comparing it, if a crime happened today and they're comparing it to 1920, what happened in the bank in 19, I'm gonna be like, oh, let me see the similarity, right? Exactly. I wasn't around in 1920, right? I still want to know, what dishes they were eating off of the Titanic.
Right. Yeah, I would say that especially now, there should be no reason that you can't brush up on almost anything. Before internet and Google, you just kind of took people's word for it. Oh, yeah, all right, I saw it. Most people are not going to run out and research it. Now it's just like you just throw in Tawana Brawley in the Google and you're going to get everything you need to know because there's news stories from that time that you can just, look right on your computer. It's really easy. But first of all, to the comment, I think you mentioned, or was it Haran, you mentioned that someone said about the Tillman story and using that as a defense. And I'm not just saying for this story. People need to stop doing this, man. This whole, well, look what happened over here. Like, if I'm Jewish and I kill 10 German babies and then somebody saying, well, look what the German, what? It doesn't, we're talking about totally separate. It doesn't justify what's happening over here when something bad happened over here. It's just such a deflection. Mm-hmm. And we're doing that. I mean, listen, we've got all kinds of people doing that today's day, trying to say, well, look at this and what about this and what about that? Anyway, I just
be specific though. How does that relate to this kid? Like, be specific. How does that relate to the topic tonight? What do you mean?
No. Haran was saying there was someone that was bringing up the Tillman.
Oh, Emmett Till.
The murder of
Emmett Till.
I'm sorry, my bad. Emmett Till. Yeah, I said Tillman. I don't know. I keep calling him Tillman. But anyway, Emmett Till, and bringing it up and saying, well, and kind of justifying, well, you need to leave this person alone because of that. And it's really like, you're just like, what? What does one have to do with the other? You know?
we hear a lot of that silliness online. The comparisons I've heard are like, how the fuck did you connect those two things?
I mean, I've seen some stretches.
For sure. But this is very, this is very reminiscent of the Tawana Brawley case where both these women accused white men of doing this crime. It's just Tawana Brawley was, I think, a way more imaginative, I would say, because I'm not putting no fucking dog shit all over my body. And she said the dog shit was her neighbor's dog shit. put that the sexual assault kit came back blank, even though she said she was gang sexually assaulted by 4 different men. That came back blank. And then she just disappeared. She disappeared, her family. So I find it so strange that,
why bring it up? Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Very interesting. And then Al Sharpton has a zip lip, but after you get hit with a 500K, you know what I'm saying, lawsuit, he's probably like, I don't speak English.
Well, no, I was just going to mention that. Isn't it amazing that he was caught up in that, and now he's like a political expert on cable news network? You can recover.
Oh, absolutely.
You can definitely recover because people have short memories.
Yeah, I mean, and what saves him is.
Or Tristan doesn't even know what happened. So, Tristan doesn't even know what happened with him.
Right. And I mean, what saved Al Sharpton was he didn't plan the crime. He was just defending her. So he could easily chalk it up to like, oh, well, hey, I believed her because she was a young, and she was 15. So everybody was like, oh my God, how can you do this to this child? Blah, blah.
Yeah, I remember. That was...
Crested Wiz says, I'm in Alabama, and the fact that this has reached as far as it has makes me sad. And I was saying the other day, or was it yesterday? I'm not sure when. I was saying that it's, it's good and bad. I mean, it's great that a missing Black woman got this much attention because it doesn't happen. But then I still think it was the toddler aspect was really like, to think a little boy, 4 years old, was out there by himself, was like, oh my God, find these people. What is going on? Why is a baby walking out there, by himself? So I think that had a lot to do with it as well. And I'm not sure if she gave the race of the toddler, but if she said he was white, then we know.
Well, and again, this is what's sad, is that when it gets this attention, when these cases get this attention and it turns out not to be true, it's so, like the people that are doing, like Tawana Brawley, although at this point, some people don't even know who that is anymore. So it's fading. But for a time, it really damaged.
I know she's sitting somewhere now like, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Now
Mom,
I'm going to get brought up again, right?
Shut up, Mom. Yeah. But for a time, it damages any other person coming up if they were attacked by, say, some white people and something horrific like that. It damages their case. The ramifications of these bad cases that do get attention, because I'm sure there's a lot that don't. It really does. It damages other people reporting things in the future. Everybody always jumps to, with the raised eyebrow, like, oh, here we go again, especially. And it's even magnified if it has anything to do racially. If it's black and white, like the Jussie Smollett or Tawana Brawley, then the next time something happens, the magnifying glass is huge. And whatever side you want to say is like, oh, this is another false flag. It really is. It's awful when people do that.
It's funny. I'm going to disagree a little bit. It is awful when people do it, but I don't think this is going to take like this could happen tomorrow and the news will be all over it, especially if it's racial. I think that, race is a huge deal for the media. Race and plane crashes are the biggest thing. So I'm like, I really think this could happen a week from now and it's going to get the same type of attention because of the contention between Black people and white people is still the bestseller in the media. So white people are still going to talk shit and Black people are still going to talk shit and Black people are going to be split. I think Candace Owens, everybody just did this when I said that, but I think she covered it very, very well. She was even funny about it, but it's like, she's literally like, Black people owe me an apology because I'm always right about this shit. And then she was right. Like she had predicted this while even I was still like, no, wait, let's wait. Maybe she's really missing. Wait. And Candace Owens was on it. She was like, she's full of shit. It's a lie. So now, Candace Owens lately has been able to wag her little finger with the I told you so. But I think it would still get attention because what else is America going to talk about if not Black people?
No. The news will cover it. I'm not saying the news won't cover it. You're absolutely right. The news will cover anything racially, polarizing. That's for sure. But what I'm saying is it gives a lot of people the excuse to dismiss it. the next one, even if it's real. Here we go again. Here's just like this, just like that, just like the last case. And that's where I think the damage comes in. As far as Candace Owens, the reason she could probably sniff that out is because she's not thinking with emotion. She probably looked at everything. She probably looked at everything and said, okay, interstate, toddler, and she's the only one that knows anything about it. She could probably look at what the story was and say, yeah, I ain't right. That's not real. But if you get emotionally involved in it, if you're like, oh my God, then you tend to shut off the logical thinking.
Absolutely. And that's a skill that a lot of people don't have. They can't look at something and dissect it without fucking emotion. Like, fine, let it touch your heart, right? Let it tap your heart, but you still have to have logic and common sense. And the story just didn't add up. Once that girl showed up at her house, you know what I mean, walking like, what's for dinner? Common sense has to kick in. So to see her parents, and this country is weird that way, to see her parents even be given a platform to spew this nonsense. It's like fucking when Michael Jackson kept saying he didn't get a nose job and he had about 55 of them shits. He's sitting there looking at us dead in the face. He's sitting there looking at us dead in the face saying, I never had a nose job. And we're like, where the fuck are we? What is this? The Twilight Zone and shit? So to have her parents sitting there like doting parents, like, no, I believe that the perpetrator's still out there. Lady, go home. You're fucked up, right? And we would have, some of us, not all, but we would have so much more respect that we're like, look, fucked up. I don't know why she did it. We're going to get her some help. We're going to get her a therapist. We don't know why this happened. She'd get so much more attention and sympathy if that's what they're looking for, or empathy, or whatever the fuck they're looking for. But they look like buffoons. They look like buffoons on that fucking show. Buffoons.
Eventually they're going to use that the mental illness defense, the plight of the black woman defense is going to be used. All these things are going to be used eventually, because it's like
defense.
But that's exactly why it's going to be used. It's a good fucking defense. You know what I mean? If you go up there and be like, yeah, I lied because my nigga was over there fucking with another broad, you get fucking tarred and feathered. So right. You better go up there and say that, you know what I mean? You better pull the race card, pull your gender, pull everything, and just let it rock out.
Mm-hmm.
If I was their lawyer, I would say, yeah, this is the road you better go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with David Dillon, because it's like when men complain about being falsely accused of sexual assault, right? I was like, for every time a man is falsely accused, there are like 5,000 real sexual assaults happening, right? So it's one of those false equivalents. So I agree with David Dillon. He says, I hate these cry wolf stories, embarrassing, but it's really wrong to dismiss real cases because of this idiot. I agree 100%. Like, kidnappings happen. I told you guys I follow Black and Missing on Facebook, and it's insane how many people have really gone missing, men, women, children, you know what I mean? And things like that. So yeah, who was it that said, it's funny, on my Vegatron that you said this, he says, the dad straight, now he can move on with his girlfriend, not that one. Don't let mom go home, book her too. Tawana Brawley's mother did go to prison. Tawana Brawley's mother did go to prison, and she had to pay a fine. So if Carlee Russell's mama continue this fucking charade, you never know, she may get charged too, because it's like, lady, she's lying, and now you're on national television saying there's a perpetrator out there. So you're continuing the lie, you're causing panic, because the gullible people are like, oh my God, there's still a killer out here. What are we to do? So she's really digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper, it's fucking ridiculous.
And, it's just, what's going to happen is that before the truth actually comes out, if it comes out, that clout is going to they're going to wring this clout shit out, man. It's not going to be the only time that mother and whomsoever is on the talk show. We talked about it. They're gonna drain this. It's probably going to go well into the goddamn. It's probably the rest of the summer.
You think?
We're going to hear about this shit. Probably. Who knows? depends on how fast the news cycle is or how slow the news cycle is. You know what I mean? If shit ain't really popping like that, we may bounce back and forth from this and maybe a little bit of this Kiki shit. You know what I mean? Because Kiki out here behaving like a video vixen now all of a sudden.
Yeah, Kiki's like, I'm really gonna twist the knife now. Y'all calling me all kinds of things. That's how I'm gonna show up.
So it depends on what the news cycle looks like. They better help an asteroid hit somewhere. That's all I'm saying. But
yeah, I predict that something really crazy is gonna happen within the next couple weeks. That's what I predict. And it's gonna have nothing. And it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna have anything to do with Kiki or this idiot who pretended she was abducted. That's what I predict. Something's gonna happen, and we'll be talking about it right here on the Blizzak.
Himself might storm the castle.
Say again.
Trump himself might storm the castle.
Something's gonna happen. But I will say, it's funny what you said about Kiki. Like, she's out there, presenting a certain way, and it's funny. Back in the day, women used to play dress up and be princesses and business women with the little suitcase and stuff. And now it's like dress up for these girls now is whoring and looking like strippers. And I'm like, that's dress up now. Because, Kiki's not about that life. A lot of these rappers aren't about that whole life, but except for that Sukihana shit. That's a real true blue whore, like a street tramp. But
I think that let me ask you a question. And because I think I said this before. Most girls who were, I guess, that it girl, we can say that it girl in high school or college, or whatever. When you meet them now, most of them that I know personally, or I see them now, they're real calm. They stay out of everyone's way. You know what I mean? They might have like a couple of kids, but they're you keep their head down. It just seems like, I don't know, like so many women seem to now be taking the opportunity to be that it girl they wanted to be when they were in high school or that they saw on the block. Like, everybody's trying to be that it girl or it guy or whatever, you know what I mean, instead of just being themselves, because you got some of these people in their 30s, 40s, some motherfuckers went and got some surgery or they dropped some weight and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, they're just this completely different person, you know what I mean? And they're behaving like just children. They're behaving like children. They're doing things. They're getting divorced. They're leaving their mates. They're blah, 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 so on and so forth, just dropping their responsibilities. And you just got to wonder to yourself, was that so important to so many people at one point in their life? To be the person who was considered the most popular? Like most people, they tell me that, anyone know the Breakfast Club? Jesus, I just fucking dated my fucking self. Anyone knows the Breakfast Club, and you guys know, I'm often compared to the guy who was the brooding dude. The shocker. You know what I mean? Now, he was a guy who wasn't necessarily popular. He was more or less the loner and so on. I was that guy in high school. So it was just like, that being that dude and the it guy never really was that fascinating to me, but I'm realizing now that so many people, it was so important to him to be that. And you're seeing these grown people do all of these wild things at their very big age, man.
Yeah, there's no doubt, you bringing this up, that I think that when you are that kind of popular in high school, it probably is a curse, because you can, some people can go up, I imagine, but most don't. I remember there were quite a few popular people, but I remember girls that I was just like, oh my God. And then 20 years later, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And I think in school, like you're saying, in high school, it's probably pretty much better just being like in the middle. You don't want to be on the lower end where you're getting beat up and picked on. But yeah, in the long run, probably just kind of being where maybe you don't have the expectations, and then when you come back, you're like, "Oh, you do that? Oh, wow! I never knew." Unless you're the really nerdy people that go on and do great things, of course. But I'm just talking about the popularity is a little tricky for high school, because I almost think you peak too high. But I just thought about that because Haran was talking about the Breakfast Club, so I'm not sure how this relates to what we're
You're
talking
absolutely correct. High school never ends. No, I tell people all the time, you never leave high school. You just leave the building.
But you know what? I feel like
that's kind of true. It's kind of true, yeah.
I feel like it did end, but then social media breathed new life into it, where it's like Revenge of the Rejects and Revenge of the Nerds were the prom king and queen now. Like the Rejects are the prom king and queen now. And all the hot people are on the outs. I wasn't on either side. I didn't even want to fucking be in school. So I'm like, I wasn't out every time I was there, I was fucking miserable. I'm like, why are we learning this shit? Long geometry for what? Algebra for what? All I gotta do is be able to count up to $100 bill, bitch. You know, so I just didn't want to be there. I'm like, well, why am I here? I speak great English. I have a great vocabulary. Why the fuck am I here? Why am I here?
Well, we need this kind of math because someone has to figure out how to fucking make a car engine, Jen. That's the reason.
I see, but I knew I wasn't gonna go work at Ford, Haran.
Okay, well, that's a good.
Or what Haran does, you got to have. I'm sure you have to have some math skills.
At least you at least have to understand algebra on a basic level.
But yeah, no, it's not for. I listen. It's not for everybody.
It's not.
Obviously, but you didn't. But I keep saying you got to do it, even though it's not. You may never use. So like I'm with you. There's certain things. I mean, like when I was in high school, I would say, God, this is boring. Why do we have to learn this? I'm never going to use it. And I never used it. I haven't used it. I haven't used it since. But there's certain careers that you will. But no, yeah, you're right. I think with the social media, and it started, if you remember, back in 2000, 2001-ish type time frame when you started getting the when you still had dial-up internet, but you started getting the almost like it was a registry. It was almost like the first, it wasn't really like the first Facebook, but it was almost like a registry where you could look up your high school people, like your class or whatever like that. But yeah, so the internet has allowed you now to reconnect. Where before, when you got out of high school, if you were a loser, you just didn't show up to the class reunion. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No, El Padrino. Yeah, it is Fat Neck. It's just not the one you're looking at. Anyway. Once you cam up, bro. Once you cam up, I swear to God, bro.
You can cam up. Cam up. El Padrino, cam up.
Joe ain't behind that account.
You guys' very own troll.
I know. And I love it because we could go back and forth.
No, El Padrino likes Haran because he only comes in and targets him. He got to think about Haran.
It's cool.
It's
all right. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself. Yeah, so it's like it's wanting to be the it person on steroids now, right? Mm-hmm. And it takes, back in the day you had to be a star athlete, or the girls had to be beautiful, very pretty to be homecoming queen, very popular, very personable. Right? Now all you have to do is fucking show up, and you have 500 people in the comments saying, "Oh my God, you're so hot," and they're not. They're not. Like, the bar is so low. Like Sukiyana, for instance, she looks like Tracy Morgan in a wig. I'm like, how do you people not see that? She looks like Tracy Morgan in a wig. Like, this woman is hideous. She turns to the side, she looks like a duck because of all the lip implants. Like, it's really, and then the fake, the BBL looks like it hurts. She looks like a walking keloid. It's not attractive. It's not. I don't know what's happening. Thank you for the super chat, Don Levon. Don Levon says, the rejects are the new prom king and queen, and the nerds are the bullies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, oh my God, the nerds are the bullies, because look at all the incels that come at us. Look at all the nerds that come at us. And every time I say cam up, they refuse to cam up because we know what they look like, don't we? So literally the nerds are trying to bully the hot people.
Well, listen,
let's shut this down right now.
What's going on?
I'll cash out $50 right now if you come up and cam up.
How much you gonna give him?
I'm gonna give you $50 if you
shit. Cash app on the block with Jen. Fuck that. I cammed up.
Nah, I'm gonna give you $50 right now, bro. $50 right now. One day.
Wait, he said he's gonna cam up. Oh, you're not gonna cam up now?
Is that one day next to the day you lose your virginity?
One day, that's funny. No,
I thought he
Jen,
meant now. I thought he meant now. Okay.
Dad actually
Jen,
shows
I
up.
mean, Jen, I agree partially with what you're saying about the nerds are now the bullies, but and the prom and king and queen, but you're doing it as a negative spin. I think the nerds are now the ones that, especially the nerds that are out there in the tech industry and are at the top of their game. I think they were nerds, and now they have, they're like the top now. Not necessarily incels, because they're the ones that are creating things and usually a lot of them are have masters and whatever. So now
I'm not talking about Zuckerberg and Musk and I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the nerds and the dweebs and the incels that run rampant on social media, talking about other people that they know look good, who work out, who are attractive, who have options. Those are the guys I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're two different. I think they're two different nerds. I think there's nerds because, like I said, I respectfully, there was a guy whose brother I talked about him, who his fraternal twin brother was an athlete and he was a nerd, and he's a pharmacist with 2 or 3 degrees, and his brother's not. Right? There's those nerds, and then there's the low achieving nerds that you're talking about. The underachieving nerds.
And those are.
I've always been a nerd.
Yeah. Right, and those are the guys that I'm talking about, the ones that used to get beat up in school and no girls wanted to date them. I'm not talking about those smart nerds with the ones that you ask to do your homework for you. It's too different because
Jen's in a different world. I could never ask a nerd to do my homework.
You know what I mean? Like some nerds listen, there's some nerds out there that really hot girls would be like, I'm gonna give you a little something because I want to steam up your glasses. There's some guys out there like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then there are these creeps that run rampant online, and they're mad that they never got any booty or anything, and they think that they're gonna attack like the hot folks now. And it's like, yeah, we got power now because we got keyboards. No,
absolutely.
I will say, I will say, like when I think in New York, you guys, like we talked before, corny was the really thing you didn't want to be called, and I know where I grew up, you didn't want to be called a nerd, because the movie Revenge of the Nerds, all but I encourage people to be nerds. I'm like, be a nerd, because that's temporary. Yeah, in high school you might take some shit, but you'll be set up to actually be the dominant, or at least have the means to get what you want later on in life. Nerds.
Yeah, but I think nerds that's a natural thing. Either you're a book smart kid who loves books and your comics, and I think that's natural. I don't think you can tell anybody to be a nerd. That's just what those kids like.
That's true. I mean, there's some truth to that. Yeah.
Like I'm part nerd. Like I run around with Maleficent horns on my head. Like who does this? Right? I'm part nerd.
Your DNA test will say part nerd.
Part nerd. At least 0.5, because I love. You know what I mean? I love Comic-Con. I love it's just, I can't tell you what Spider-Man came before Venom, and I can't do that. I'm not well versed in nerdom. But I like the environment. I like those guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't deal with the fucking rejects. Those people get on my damn nerves. They turn into these pseudo villains online because they've been rejected.
Yeah, but you're saying that I'm not saying, well, I don't know if you're saying this, but that can come from being popular in high school and falling off, and suddenly you have the vitriol towards the people, if you're because popularity and looks don't necessarily have to go together. You can be popular and still later on, or okay, maybe you're good looking and then you gain 200 pounds, and then you're pissed off at the world, but I get in general,
in general, it's usually the other way around. It's people who've experienced have never experienced being popular or getting ass or being in those conversations or in those circles. That's more than likely the case than some fine guy who gained weight You know what I mean? Because he can still, if you're fine, you're fine. You're going to be fine. Heavy, you're going to be fine.
Shout out to Axl Rose.
But Axl Rose got weird looking in the face.
Well, he got fucking Botox. Got all kinds of
right,
shit
that
on his face. So he
looks weird in the face, just like Mickey Rourke. They look weird in the face. I'm like, you could have gained weight, honey. Like, you could have gained weight and got older. But what they did to their face is cringy.
Well, Mickey Rourke,
cringy.
He what happened to him is that he was a boxer. He was an amateur boxer, and then he got hit in the fucking nose, and I think he broke his nose. He had to get surgery. Then after that, he went and got fucking Botox. He got some shit happening to his face, and then he
he did his lips. He got Botox. He has fillers. He looks like a potato now. It's Simon Cowell.
Well, absolutely.
Simon Cowell, Simon Cowell's a man who could have grew old gracefully. Now he sewed his eyes almost shut. You know what I mean? He did the Kenny Rogers, that bad. It was bad.
No. You see it.
Now, Jen, since you're
these niggas now where's off my balls, man.
Well, not for nothing. It does look like somebody sat on his face. That's how bad his face looks. He looks like a potato. He looks like a melting potato. And it's sad because I had it for Mickey Rourke. 9.5 weeks in Wild Orchid.
Is that the okay. Didn't he I might be thinking of somebody different.
No, I'm talking about 9.5 weeks in Wild Orchid, Mickey Rourke.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. All that 50 Shades of Grey. I'm like, listen, we already saw that. That was literally 9.5 weeks in Wild Orchid. That 50 Shades of Grey. It's the same premise. I'm like, y'all bit from 9.5 weeks. It's just that all these young people are not going to remember 9.5 weeks.
Right.
But y'all ripped that whole script. Mickey Rourke was a dish back then. Now it's like, eek. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, Jen, since you are the only female on the panel tonight,
I am.
It was Axl Rose. Is Guns N' Roses from New York?
I don't know if he's from New York. I have no idea.
Okay, but just curious, like when back in their heyday, like Guns N' Roses and oh shoot, hold on, what's their names? The ones from New Jersey.
Bon Jovi.
Shit. Would you think back in the day when you looked at Axl Rose was Bon Jovi a better looking guy than Axl Rose?
I think so. So.
Because I'm going to say, because there's no doubt about today, who's the better looking person. I was like, damn. I'm like,
I would have picked John Bon Jovi because Axl Rose, he wasn't unattractive at all, but he had to me like a little boy's face. Like a little bit, and Bon Jovi looked like a man. He looked like a rocker. He looked, you know what I'm saying? He looked like he had that edge thing, but I'm biased. I'm a big Bon Jovi fan. But I still think that John was more attractive. And even like you said today, because he never gained weight, John is still very slim.
Yes.
Axl Rose, like he fucked with his face and then he gained weight. That's a double whammy. Just like Mickey Rourke. It's like you fucked with your face and you gained weight. Bruh, you killing me right now. And it's scary how these men are now getting into all these surgeries and it's distorting their looks. It's gross. Stop it. Right? But,
I think it pertains to what you said this the other day, that a lot of men are approaching their lives like how women approach their lives in terms of worrying about their looks heavily. Getting things done to their eyes, having filters, like the guys in the chat being obsessed with other men, like some women are just obsessed with other women, just bitch shit, just feminine energy, what I mean?
My God.
Like shit, man. It's like, it's amazing.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie.
When it comes, go ahead, no sir.
No. I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. For me, it comes down to and we've talked, Haran, about I'll spend money on electronics. But when you show me all the stuff to get the moisturizer and all this stuff to keep your skin a certain way, and even like Botox, I think, oh, maybe I'll get some Botox. And then I look, I'm like, how much? Hell no, I'm not getting no Botox. I'll just live with the wrinkles.
Right.
Yeah. You just have to please just keep your fingernails clean and throw on any moisturizer. That's the good thing about men, that you guys can really use anything to moisturize your face. Whatever lotion you put on your body, you can really put on your face.
Like
and you're
what?
not gonna break out. Whatever it is, what lotion do you use lotion on your body?
I do use some lotion, but the stuff I like to, I need some no scent stuff. I can't stand like
then you get
cocoa butter and
something
stuff like that.
Oh, I can't stand. I'm not a cocoa butter girl.
You don't like that shit? Cocoa butter?
Haran, yo, get the fuck away from me with the fucking cocoa butter.
That
I
shea butter
loathe
shit.
it. Okay, get it the fuck away from me. However, I do have a lotion that has a hint of coconut, but it smells more tropical than pulling up on a block. So I don't like that. I used to smell that shit in the morning in school. Hot Cheetos, fucking cocoa butter lotion, right? And I'm like, I hated it. No scent. Yeah, I mean, Jergens has a light scent, doesn't have a heavy scent. The original scent, no scent.
Okay.
Yeah, but just men don't need much, but you guys do need to keep your fingernails clean. Be the little things for me. I don't like a metrosexual type of guy. The guys that they go get manicures and then they get the clear nail polish and they wax their eyebrows, and you still need to be some kind of rough around the edges. I'm not that girl. I'm sure there are women out there that is like, yes, girl, he did his eyebrows and no, Dominicans do too much. Shout out to my Dominicanos. I love y'all, but y'all know damn well you do too much in that barbershop. You know damn well you do too much in the barbershop.
Eyebrows. They got the chancletas on. They got shit waxed.
Oh no, honey. They got the shirt inside tucked in. Everything is tight. But don't metrosexual yourself. It's not. I don't like it. Maybe there's some women out there that like your shiny toes and your lip gloss. I'm not one of them.
Right.
I'm not that girl. This is just do the basics. The basics are fine. Do the basics. Just be clean.
Right, you hear that?
Change underwear, wash your ass.
There you go. There you go.
For you guys, right? Washing your ass. That's a tough one for you, motherfucker.
No, it is. It's tough for a lot of people.
That motherfucking Tupac be whooping your asses, man. That's what some of these girls be saying out here, man.
And you need to have, not everyone has a bidet. You can buy one though. You don't have to, not every toilet comes with a bidet, but you could buy one separately on Amazon. But if you're not that fancy, that's fine. But I better see wipies on your toilet tank. You better have wipies on your toilet tank. If you do not, that means you got that streak in your underwears. Asshole.
I remember Glorilla.
What are we talking about?
I remember Glorilla was talking about she got streaks in her underwear, and I was just like, yeah, that's.
Oh God, you remind me. Listen, in basic training. So in basic training, they make you fold your underwear a certain way and all that kind of your shirts, your underwear, and then they come and inspect, right? So everybody, of course, you're gonna try to figure out a way not to have to keep on every time you wash your underwear and everything, not to have to redo and get that perfect fold and everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's simple. No, you're right.
But listen. I'm not finished. So they would come in and inspect, and if your underwear looked like it was not used, they were gonna gig you for it, and take them out and throw them all over the place and everything. So there was one dude that just made a big old streak in his underwear. And he folded them up, stuck it in.
That's terrible.
Oh my God, you reminded me of that. If you don't have wipes.
Absolutely terrible. Don't have, wipes also, depends on the lotion, Black Lexicon, because some lotion tastes nasty. That's another thing women do that men have never done. I bet you've never tasted your lotion.
Hell no.
Excuse me?
You never taste your lotion. When I put lotion on, when I get a new lotion. Because see, women do this. Well, I don't know about women. I'll speak for me, but I taste my lotion because it's like, you put it all over yourself and guys lick you all over. So it's like you taste it and some of it you don't want.
So we've tasted their lotion. We just haven't tasted our own lotion.
Yes. Yes. There you go. You've tasted lotion. If you're a man, you've tasted lotion.
Listen, I've learned so much, and you think, you get up to a certain age. I mean, I know you can always learn new things, but I've learned so much on this show through Jen. Like, I never really like her. Listen, I've had quality women in my life. I never realized how much they must have worked for me not to know how gross women can be if they don't do certain things until Jen starts saying, "Oh, that happens? Really? Oh,
yes, it happens." Someone said it. Oh, my very John said some of the women. He said some of the women are bad now too. Yeah, look at him get the cocoa butter. No, sir. No, sir.
Like you talked about the crust in the underwear thing. I'm like, really?
The potato chips.
Never. Okay. I guess I've just gotten lucky.
Let me tell you, if you've never seen that, those women with a fucking bomb, I tell you that. You have to rinse your panties. Don't throw them in the hamper like that.
And just hearing what Jen talks about, I just realized, like, wow, some women really do. They're on their game when it comes to like not, like I'm thinking. Well, that's why I always think, well, women are just naturally born much cleaner than men.
When she did that razor blade shit against the wall.
Yeah.
Like I would
CSI.
Hey, I live seeing that kind of stuff. So I mean, I've seen that for over 20 years now.
I mean, especially I will even say, and I'm just gonna speak on me before y'all get offended. Especially because it's my world, especially Latinas.
Yes.
Like my mom from a very young age, she was like, every appliance you have must shine. And it stuck with me forever. So it's like the faucet got to be shiny. The handle to the microwave got to be shiny. The handle to the refrigerator got to be, like my mother's in my head all the time. Like she was like, if you have an appliance and it's silver, it should look like silver. It should be shiny. So now I'm like, it's like,
no. I have to agree. I was trying to think of another word, but I have to agree 100% with you, because not only with what my experience with Erica, and I've seen it forever now, but even when you go to the country, like in Colombia, they can have be in the poorest area, have the smallest house, but it is sparkling clean and with pride. And that's the difference I notice between America and some of these other countries, because here, if you got a shitty house, normally you go in there and it's had dog shit in the carpet and clothes hanging all over, and it's just not the same. You're right. I think that's a cultural thing with Latino people. I really do.
It's very cultural, because my grandma came from super, super humble backgrounds. Like my grandma had 2 jobs back when women couldn't even fucking vote. Okay, she was that woman. And she said, she always told us from when we were very little, I don't care if you got $0 in your pocket, you better look like $1 million when you hit the street. And that shit, it sticks with you. Like Saturday morning, you turn on the salsa, you throw the shower curtain over the bar, and you get the scrubbing, and everything is it's like it's a reflex at this point. So,
I will say that it will rub off, because when I say it rubs, because it's not that but like now, the order of everything now, if I go and there's something out of order, like I'm not compulsive but like I have to go and get it, you get used to a certain way. And it's because of that, because she's the way she's kept it all the time. So now it's like, things will bother me, even, things will start to bother me.
And be clear, we're not judgmental on men, because honestly, I don't expect men to clean like me or no shit. That men are simple, right? I don't expect that. But however, if you are a woman and I go to your house, I'm already like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. You start looking around and shit.
When I go to one house, if the corners of the toilet ain't clean, I'll leave.
Yo, you mean with the fucking the handle with the
Yeah. When
what
that
do you
shit
call
is
it? The
like,
little hinges.
when that's
Yeah.
like that, I usually be like, well, okay, well, I work in the
You
morning.
want to, Haran? You want to stay? We got some good food.
If you ain't taking care of those little things,
Listen, if you clean listen, if you're gonna have a messy home, the test is the kitchen and the bathroom must be immaculate. You can throw your clothes around. You know, the week goes by, you're like Monday's sweatshirt, Tuesday's t-shirt, fine. But the kitchen and the bathroom must be immaculate. All right. Those are things that I noticed. Like your ceiling fan. Why does it
let
look
me ask you
like
something, man.
why does it look like gray hair all over the fucking the blades? Like what is that?
Jeff, let me ask you a question. I didn't see this. You have to explain this to me. When we were looking through Airbnbs and so on and so forth, what I mean? My suggestions, you said these look like fucking bachelor pads.
They
Now,
did though.
I don't know what you meant by that. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Let me tell you something. Haran was picking all the places that had barely any furniture, and the couches were always black leather or brown leather. I was like, I don't want to do a bachelor pad. I want something that looks, you know what I mean, homely for the shit that we're doing.
okay.
And he kept sending this shit with black leather or brown leather, and a TV and a table. I'm like, this is man shit. This is
Yeah, that'd be a hard
home.
couch to sleep on too. That'd be the
That's
worst
another-
kind of couch to sleep
That's
on.
another thing I was thinking of too, because Rob is coming. So I was like, we need something comfy. We need something that looks like people live there and frequent, right?
You know what?
But yeah,
I guess that is mainly the difference between men and women, because one thing about women is that they know how to make a house a home. Like you see,
for sure.
You know what I mean? They know how to get the little knickknacks, the little things that just makes the whole situation come together and come alive, and so on. The right furniture and shit like that. Men, especially me, I'm very much into minimalist furniture, and
most men are
into like, we got the basics, like we got the big huge fucking TV that goes wall to wall. We got the sit couch. We got some cool art here and there, so on and so forth. Whatever, it's clean. Boom.
And I'm not because I'm a minimalist too. It helps me think better. So I'm not really the frilly girl and the floral girl. I like grays, I like beiges, I like browns, but it still has to look cozy for me, right? That's Cap on my Vegatron. He said, I think men clean more than women. No.
Need a picture of the pool playing dogs on the wall. Everybody know that picture, right? Them shits.
Oh my gosh! I can't with y'all.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, that's a good.
In the bodega.
Abby said, ever see women taking selfies and the room in the back is too much? Listen, I get mad when I take a selfie and there's freaking water spots on the mirror, and then I got to do it again. I'm like, fuck! And I got to clean the mirror off and do the selfie again because I hate them spots.
You just need to edit that out, man. It's easy to edit that stuff out now.
No, yeah, I do that too, but I'm like, I'm still pissed off that it was even there to begin with, and now I got to fucking edit it out. So I just want to turn it down and do it again. I'm like, no, it's like, you live and you learn. But my mom, you know what I mean? She didn't even have to crack the whip. That's just how we were raised every Saturday. It's like, and then my dad decided to turn our fucking living room into a gym with floor to ceiling mirrors, just like in a gym. He had the dumbbells. Yeah, he had the dumbbells and he had the heavy bag right in the middle. I don't know how that heavy bag didn't fall, but them old Bronx buildings were built not like the shit they're building now.
Nah.
Okay, not like the shit they're building now. But so every fucking weekend we would clean it with newspapers. That's how I learned that you can clean glass with fucking crunched up newspapers. And that's how we cleaned it. It's the shit we went through cleaning that fucking gym of his.
Yeah,
family room? Who needs a family room? We don't need a family room. We need a gym in the living room and an apartment in the Bronx. I was like, okay, Dad.
My first serious relationship is where I learned that trick about the newspaper, because she was really tidy. She kept a tight ship too.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, whoever may get married one day, are you going to?
What's up, William? William P.
Uh,
Scott. That's my New York fam.
Oh, cool. Hi, William. Yeah, if a clean house is important to you, that might be a characteristic you want to look into. You might want to make sure when you go by that person's house that it doesn't smell moldy in there, and
Right.
clothes are on the, or all the extra stuff are on the dining room table. It's not organized because that kind of.
Oh, okay, Abby. Abby said them Bronx buildings had 300-pound chandeliers when they were built. Yeah, because my dad, I'm telling you, he put the Everlast, the big beige Everlast bag right on the frame of the fucking living room, and he would use it. My brother would use it. I used it every now and then, but it used to hurt my knuckles because it was like, the outside is like a fucking sandbag. It's rough. And that thing would not fall. It would not fucking fall. To this day, like I want to go back there.
Motherfucker, wouldn't he?
Huh? Yeah. And you would hear it. And I'm like, I don't know how the neighbor upstairs was not losing his fucking mind, but my dad wasn't exactly the type of guy you tap on the shoulder about anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, knock it off,
yeah. He wasn't exactly that guy. But I was like, I can't imagine being the neighbor that lives upstairs, hearing that shit. Like, what the fuck, right? Because we lived on the 3rd floor. There was a 4th floor on top of us. But the man never came downstairs. He never came downstairs.
Alone, at least.
Without the police.
Exactly.
But I would love, you know how like celebrities go back to their old neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go back to that apartment and just look up at the frame and see if it's still like they just painted over the fucking, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I want to know if that freaking heavy bag mark was still there. One day.
My old Brownsville apartment is about almost $3,000 a month now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I paid $800 fucking dollars a month for that shit. It's almost I know it's $250. So after taxes, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever, you're spending about $3,000 to stay there.
That's a little crazy because Ed, he's paying $3,000 a month, but he lives on 86th Street and 3rd. Okay, that's where you're gonna be. So I'm like, $3,000 for Brooklyn? Nah, I can't do $3,000.
Times have changed, Jen.
My very first apartment on my own was $409 a month. Okay, wall to wall, shellacked floors, sunken living room, huge sunken living room, 7th floor, beautiful apartment, $489 a month. Can you imagine what that apartment goes for now? This was back when I was early 30s. Can you imagine?
How much the rent is? How much is the rent out there? Like maybe a 1-bedroom out of New York right now.
In New York?
She's,
Abby, how much?
Last time I left, it was about at least $2,000. At least.
Shit, I was paying almost $1,200 in a bad neighborhood in the Bronx. I'm Prospect, in a bad neighborhood, a walk up.
I can believe that.
For a 1-bedroom. I was like, bro, yeah.
$2,500.
Holy shit.
A 1-bedroom
in
is
New York City?
Yeah. 1-bedroom is $2,500. It means a 2-bedroom.
You know what you could do in Vegas with $2,500 a month in Vegas? Live like a fucking king. Pool in the back, gym in the building. Yeah.
Right now, though, that Hollywood shit pop off. Shit gonna change real quick.
No, the rents are going up because everybody's coming from changing. LA. Yeah, everybody's coming out here.
We're gonna turn that shit into
California.
LA.
Listen, I love California, but man, everybody's moving and driving prices up everywhere else. it's I can see why people get annoyed. It's like, come on, man.
So that means Manhattan prices is like maybe 3,200 and up.
I'm like, they don't want you to live. Like, they don't, it's great. It's like they literally like, let's see how many homeless people we can make this year. That's what it seems like.
There's no way in hell people don't have roommates. you grown up shit. There's no way in hell most people have to have roommates under those
See, but that's the thing. That's why I didn't go to LA, because a lot of my actor friends in LA, they all, and it's not just a roommate. It's like fucking 3 or 4 of them, or somebody and his girlfriend lives there and they're helping to pay them. And I can't have roommates. I can't. I
I
live a very specific way.
What the fuck?
It's like the 70s, man.
$1,000 a month, and plus you gotta eat, and if you got a car, and if you gotta, you know what I mean, like.
The only way I can do a roommate, it has to be a townhouse, and we have to live on different floors. That's it.
That's a different situation.
Yeah, I can't do the like we're using the same bathroom.
Wait a minute. Homie said 3,460 for a studio in New York City. Where?
Where, William?
Yeah, where? Yo, man, I can't even.
See, that's why
must be like.
I'm glad I left. I'm glad I fucking left.
It must be in a nice area, like a high-end area, though.
Yeah, gotta be in a high-end area. Yeah, because my
gotta be close to 42nd Street, literally.
But I know San Francisco has high prices. I don't know. It's always New York and San Francisco that are battling for the most expensive area to live.
Yes.
Can I talk to y'all like this? Is this
yeah, go ahead. And then look at us. And then look at us when you have a point.
Yeah. Yes, I was thinking that unless you guys don't care. It's so weird. Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
William
the Beavis
said
and
Manhattan.
Butthead pose.
William said Manhattan. Yeah, Manhattan. Yeah,
Manhattan.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Like, you literally have to be well off to live in New York or LA. You have to be.
Yeah, you have to. That household has to be bringing in at least $200,000 a year, man.
You know, I don't know. I know through there's near Key West in Florida, that area. Mm-hmm. It's like I applied when I was first looking for a job out of the military, and basically they sent you everything to discourage you from coming there. They're like, you come down here, you're gonna have to have a roommate. They're like, you will not. I mean, it is so expensive down there. It is nuts, and it's still like that right now. It's like people don't, unless you're rich, unless you have a lot of money, you are not gonna. It's not very friendly as far as just. You can't have a family if you're gonna work down there. Yeah.
In New York, like you have to be making some really good money. Like I got sick of it. I'm like, yo, I'm literally working for my landlord. This is feeling fucking very, very strange. I'm just living to pay bills. I'm like, nah, I need to breathe. I'm out here. I'm going to the West Coast. And a lot of people are coming out here now, all the LA people. And now Mark Wahlberg is building that freaking studio. And then you got football out here now, and you got hockey.
Baseball. Baseball is the latest, No, it's over. It's over.
Is the best thing to do.
And I knew this. Like I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Buying up now is the best thing to do if you want to make something shake, because the next sounds like the next 5 or 10 years that place is going to be damn near close to the next Hollywood. They wanted to make Atlanta Black Hollywood, but that shit went bust real fucking quick. That should turn into Niggerville. You know what I mean?
We had they called this Hollywood West for a while in New Orleans because there still is a lot of stuff being filmed here. And then the credits. Oh yeah, New Orleans. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that's filmed here. That's why we used to be extras on a lot of that stuff. I haven't done it in a while, but and then the tax credits.
How's the modeling and stuff like that? Because I was thinking for like my daughter wants to she was like, Mom, can you look for a modeling agency out here for the kids? Because I have gorgeous grandbabies. So is there like an agency out there?
Yeah, there's agencies out here. I didn't look into like specific modeling agencies, but there are definitely, agencies for all the films and things like that.
So I'll look into it. Okay.
But what I was going to say is that then some of the tax credits went away and they were fighting, and then Atlanta gave more. It's all whoever gives the most tax credits. Usually that's where the films start to flock to. So you went from, if you remember, they used to have that, remember that show they used to film in the ambulance, and they would follow the ambulances around, and I forgot what it was called. It was in New Orleans. And then the tax credits got cut off, and then they moved it to, I don't know if it was Atlanta or Miami or something like that. So they bounce around. But we still, so as much as, you're saying Atlanta was trying to be the Hollywood, make it like Hollywood, that's just kind of typical now. Like, it just depends on who gives the most benefits, cheapest way to get, to make the films.
Speaking of, did you hear about Houston? It says syphilis outbreak shows 128% spike in cases among women. 128% spike in cases among women. Syphilis out in Houston. Drake is always out there, right? There you go. Syphilis in Houston.
So basically, Jesus Christ. There was another place too where the outbreak was just really crazy. It wasn't Houston. It was another place I gotta think of.
128%. What the fuck is going on, Houston? Houston, we got a problem.
What
is going on?
Motherfuckers just showing up.
See, and people tell me, listen, I'm proud of my little sealed up JJ. My friends are like, oh, Jen, you just need some dig in your life. No, the fuck I don't. Look, no, I don't.
You're showing up with the plan B and no condom now.
People are dirty. People are dirty, man. People are dirty. They're dirty.
And you no longer have to fear HIV because people are living forever now with that stuff. The medication.
Oh yeah, that medication. Yeah, that
it's
medication.
Just like, all right, it's just like herpes at this point,
That's wild.
It's just different from doing old men with worms.
Not worms, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's crazy though. And it's because people are out here and everybody thinks it can't happen to them. It's like, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to, come on. You should not be walking into a clinic in your 30s, 40s, and 50s with no damn syphilis on your fucking card. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, you do.
Back in the days when my mother used to work in a hospital, she was a therapist out there in Far Rockaway. And she used to always tell me, she was like, you got to be careful out here, because she was like, all the pretty girls are down there at that clinic. She told me, she was like, all you see is a lot of pretty girls. And I know some of them go to your school. And that's what I used to say to myself. I'm like, I'm sure they do too, because there was a time when Far Rockaway had we were one of the leading places with STDs in New York.
I got so much. Let me tell you, I can't wait for my grandson to get older, because I got so much to tell him. I got so much to tell. I got lots to tell him.
I'm very lucky that I came out somewhat unscathed. You know what I mean? Because I just thought, what did Eddie Murphy say? I done threw my dick on the blackjack table many a night.
You have to consider yourself extremely.
He didn't use a condom. Nah, man, nah. She was clean. She looked. I could tell.
She looked clean. You do the finger test and be like, yeah, side, man.
Oh, my Vegatron said, not people, women. Well, women are fucking men.
I mean,
they didn't say lesbians. They said women.
Women ain't asexual. You know what I mean? They getting it and they giving it, man. You know what it is?
My Vegatron said, pretty girls are the burners, so the ugly girls aren't.
Well,
not really. I mean, if you think about it, the pretty girls, they don't have all they have most of the options.
They have the opportunity.
Look, listen.
They have bigger chances of getting it on a nightly basis.
The pretty girls are, having sex with the attractive, popular guys, right?
Yes.
And those guys get a lot of ass.
Yes.
Fucking everything. Like No Saint could probably attest to this, because I know he knows guys in the service.
I was about to say, No Saint gets a lot of what?
You know what I mean? Like, he knows a lot of guys in the service. No Saint, can you attest to this? Like a lot of Arab women, Muslim women, on the surface, they appear, you know what I mean, well put together, women of demure, women of class, women of, when they're garbed up. but behind closed doors, these chicks are getting it in.
Yeah, you know,
the opinions and comments on the blog, John, not necessarily the opinions and comments of the host.
When I was in, it was funny because when I was in Turkey, I had a girlfriend, but a guy that we were with on TDY in Turkey was dating this local, right? And they didn't know we were in the military because we had to dress down. We weren't supposed to, we didn't have our uniforms on even when we worked because they didn't, it was one of those things. So, and he was dating this girl, and basically, like, the girls, to not give up their virginity, would let you have anal sex with them. And then listen, I work with people that were in the Navy, and they got some stories, man. They got some stories. It was the funniest thing this guy did.
I can't get mad though, because I'd probably get eaten, so I kill my celibacy.
Jesus Christ! Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing.
In jail.
Really all about the optics. It's really all about the optics, man. You see, the reason why these Muslim men, they got to know their wives out there, but the optics is that they carry themselves a certain way, they move a certain way, they're women of a certain degree of respect, but behind closed doors, they're getting railed out just like any other broad. You know what I mean? And the truth of the matter is this. Look, listen, the Bible, and other, cultish, organizations. Reason why they made sure they did two things. All religious texts have two things. Number one, they tell people to behave themselves, and they guilt women into fucking not to fuck. You know what I mean? Those are the two main things all religious texts do. It's like, okay, you people can't behave like animals. We got to make sure these girls are ashamed that they want to fuck. You know what I mean? Because if they're ashamed that they want to fuck, then we can control them.
We can just call them a name, and they'll feel ashamed. Yeah, exactly. We'll just call them a hoe or slut or something.
But let's keep it real. Back in the 1950s, you could talk all that. Yeah, she was this kind of woman. She was that kind of woman. But I'm pretty sure those women were getting dug out. You know what I mean? By the next door neighbor.
It's kind of weird because when I was in, I keep on dropping these two places I was at, but when I was in Oman, so I found that, like, I went to like a mall there, and there was they have a kind of perfume that's oily. I don't know, probably in New York they probably sell it too. And so I was looking to buy some because I kind of liked the way it smelled and everything. And there was a woman there. And young woman, and I was looking. She didn't speak English, but I was looking at different stuff. And when she was in the mirror, she gave me a wink, and I was like, "Oh man!" And I don't want any woman to be restricted, but it was kind of hot for her to have all that stuff on and give me a wink. It made me wonder. I was like, "Oh, all right." But yeah, he's right about the repression, and she had no business. I mean, in that country, they're not going to let her get away with being with an infidel. She was
all right. She was going to take off that hijab and tie you up, baby.
right. Or or bring me somewhere and have my head cut off. I couldn't figure it out.
You never know. Therein lies the adventure.
Yeah. One of the most powerful things on the planet is sexual equity. And if you can control sexual equity and the direction where it goes, in many ways you can control the population. You know what I mean? If if you have it in a space where it's too liberal, then aka the sexual revolution, then people give in to their own base natures and their own base urges. So that's why a lot of these people, at least the optics of it, by trying to control us on that level, they get to control the population.
Yeah, that's not happening. People fucking like Abby's funny. Abby said, "Turn the lights on and look at it." You see, turn the lights on.
What's this?
What's that spot right there? What's that spot right there?
Oh, that's a birthmark, girl. That's a birthmark. That's a birthmark.
No, I would seriously. I would need some.
Benign.
I would need some paperwork at this point. And I don't mind doing my paperwork, but I would seriously. I'd need some freedom papers. Let me see your freedom papers, because I'm not.
Yeah, I think you need more than paperwork. Blood samples, you need the mama maiden name.
I need some. Exactly. I need some. Well, you guys do, because you don't know who's out there.
Oh,
you
shit.
just don't. Y'all don't know what y'all running into.
Man, you got some of these brothers, man. They lying.
Good thing for me. Good thing for me.
If it feels like a vagina, they don't give a fuck.
Exactly. But good thing for us women is that technology hasn't reached the point where they can make a penis. Okay. Now they do take. No, they take. I've seen the surgery. They from the lesbians. They take a big chunk of their arm off and roll it up like a baby arm and sew it on the women, and then put like a pump in it, and you know what I mean, so it can stand up. But I think I'd notice that if he took his pants off.
And they feel that? They hook it to some nerves or something?
Right.
No, they don't. No, they can't feel it. They can't feel it. I guess it's just the idea of.
Because I always assumed, I thought they actually built penises on transgender women to men that actually functioned somewhat.
No, you're thinking about the trans women. They can cut their penis off, invert it,
right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Save.
I know that part, but I thought they could do it the other way too. I thought they could do it to where okay.
Some complex shit. No, say.
Yeah, I mean,
now
they're gonna be able to grow one in a dish. They'll be able to grow one in a dish.
No, now listen. Thank God I'll be off the market. Listen. You know, but now, you know, some people will tell you, yeah, I can orgasm with the fake vagina. I could orgasm with the fake penis. I'm like, yeah, tell yourself anything, lady, sir, ma'am, whatever. Tell yourself anything. But, you know, our penises and vaginas are built a very specific way to feel very specific things. I'm not saying that it's not exciting. Okay. I'm not saying that sex and enjoying intimacy with somebody is not exciting, but to actually feel an orgasm with a biological vagina and to actually feel an orgasm with a biological penis. But the trans man penis to me was way worse than the trans woman vagina, because there's a good way to end the show, because with the trans woman vagina, you know, they slice the penis up and then just invert it back into the man's body. And then it could kind of, the doctor is good. They could kind of make it look like a vagina. Why? Because women's vaginas appearances vary so greatly. So a man is not going to look at a vagina and be like, oh, this doesn't look like a vagina because the last 5 women he was with had 5 different vaginas. So he's probably going to be thinking, oh, this is just how your vagina looks, right? But with the fake penis, you can tell. And not only that, a lot of them have the scar. It's a really bad scar on their arm. Like they take a chunk from their fucking arm and then sew it back up and literally roll it up into a penis and sew it on. And then they make the nuts and they freaking put the pump in it, and the lady has to pump it. I mean, the man has to pump it so it can stand up, and you know, but it's.
Yeah, I think if I was a transgender man from woman, then I would definitely skip that operation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already some trans women from men will skip the operation, some don't, you know, and it just depends. It's like a choice or whatever. But
yeah. Well, Lily said the majority of them kept their penis. The majority of them.
Yeah.
So I would say, if I don't know, and I know that it's a mental thing, like, no, I feel like I'm in the wrong body, I gotta cut this dick off. But I'm like, yo, dress up, do the whole female thing, but don't cut off your genitals, don't cut off your boobs, because it's like there's so much sensation in your body parts. It's like you're cutting off you know what I mean, sensation, cutting off your penis, and you don't know how it's going to work. And then they say that it's really hard to keep a fake vagina open where you're able to insert shit in it. Like you got to keep stuff up there so it doesn't seal up like a scar. I mean, it's horrific. I've seen it. It's all on YouTube. Like I told you, I go into the dark web and I start, and you can see a full blown, no blurring, no cutting, no editing. You can see a full blown trans operation on YouTube.
I think obviously, like you said, that if you get a great doctor, I know, for instance, Erica met a woman that was transgender, and guys would not have known the difference. And she looked and she said it looked like a vagina. But if you, I suppose, get the good surgeon, that had a good day. But yeah,
and you just but the thing is, you don't know how it's going to turn out because it's still according to what your penis originally looked like.
True.
Right? Everybody doesn't have the same size penis or meat or the head or whatever, but it's brutal. Like when I saw that surgery, it is brutal. Like it is brutal what they do to the penis. Like it just brought a tear to my eye that they was, you know what I mean? It was barbaric. I'm like, don't hurt the penis. What are you doing? They're just ripping it apart and splitting it and cutting the head off and stuffing it. I was like, it's brutal, man. It's like, oh, don't hurt. What the penis do to you? What are you doing?
I mean, people would get bottom surgery. Trans women would get bottom surgery. That's some gangster shit, man.
To volunteer to cut your thing off.
And this is why, Jen, you're going to push back on me. But when you sometimes.
Let's go. The last pushback of the night.
Let's go. You've done it in text and things like that. When you say, well, when you're getting paid to cut your penis off, like, I would never take money and cut my penis off. That is a big leap to think that people are promoting it and going that far to have some clout and make some money. I mean, I don't know.
I don't have pushback, but I will correct what you think I said.
Okay.
What I said was that the young trans people are all the rave now because they're getting a lot of attention. They get to be influencers and they get to make a lot of money on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. What I said was that they're more than likely will regret it at an older age. Once the lights dim, and then I sent you that video where there were trans people in their 50s and 60s who completely regretted it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's fun while you're getting a lot of attention, and it's like, look at all this money I'm making. I think that they wanted to be trans anyway, right? Okay. That even without TikTok and Instagram, then people wanted to cut their penis off. But with that, and I was like, they're probably not as happy as they think they are because right now all lights are on them. Right. So it's exciting. It's just like celebrities, like, oh my God, look how fun this is. And then at nighttime when it's just you by yourself, no fanfare or nothing, now you have to deal with what you've done. So I'm like, that's why a lot of people are regretting it at an older age, because that's major. What if you change your mind and your penis is already gone?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a solid point. Now, granted, there are people who that is what they want to do. That is what they're sticking with, whether there's cameras on them or not. And they're not jumping in front of anybody, any cameras, hollering and whatever. They're living their lives. But to your point, yeah, the people who need to broadcast it, who need to jump in front of the camera after the camera is off, because the curtain falls.
It's lucrative. Yeah, it's lucrative.
The curtain falls on everybody. And once the curtain falls and you're left with your decisions, then what? You know what I mean? Because this is my thing. Look, your sexuality and your race should never define you. You aren't your sex. You aren't your race. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if you think that you are, then okay, well, what happens when your race is no longer oppressed? What happens when, your choice of gender and sexual identity isn't oppressed? What happens if it's the end thing? Where does that leave you? You can't allow yourself to be defined by if you're oppressed or if you're not oppressed. You have to be yourself, man.
But a lot of people without oppression, they have no identity. And we spoke about that before. It's like their identity is, hi, I'm such and such. I'm marginalized. And this is my fight. And that becomes their entire identity. Right. Abby made a great point, but it's not self-cleaning like a vagina is just a hole. That's very true. Vaginas are biological vaginas are self-cleaning. So I can imagine if you have a manufactured one, you probably got to go in there with the baby brush. The baby brush.
All I can think of is that's
shit,
all a
like,
guy needs is a hole. Believe me.
Yeah.
Of course.
Teenage years, sticking your penis in the pump of a pool.
That sounds dangerous.
Wait,
It is. They've had people that have actually gotten stuck.
Wait. I didn't stick my dick in there pumping.
I'm not saying you did.
I'm just saying. This sounds like some white boy shit. No offense.
It sounds like something that happens in them teen movies, them white teen movies.
You gotta have a pool to be able to do it, all right?
Like what he said?
Ding, 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 ding.
Haran, he said you gotta have a pool to be able to experience it.
Oh shit. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. He tried to.
No, you need to get jumped in Vegas. You need to get Haran, bring your Timberlands. Bring your Timberlands, Haran. I'm not. No.
Shame the fuck out.
No. Haran, bring your Timberlands. I'm bringing my Timberlands. This is too much. You gotta get jumped.
Oh my God. See, like I told you, give him enough time, man.
It took a while though.
Where's George at? I need somebody that sounds more racist than you.
That's why when you used to give him props, I used to be like, I used to watch him like, you're still white, man.
No shit. Absolute 72, absolutely.
Oh my God.
He said, well, Bruce became a woman and dove right into the oppression. He sure the fuck did. Bruce became a woman. He was like, I'm marginalized.
Became more important than his ex-wife at one point in time. Ain't that?
Oh, absolutely. He became a bigger woman than his ex-wife. Yeah, but you gotta, it's men. Y'all are a funny species. Men.
No, but yo, like seriously though, I mean, look, man, if it feels like a hole, smells like a hole, feels like a hole, look, man, if a guy's drunk enough, he'll dive right in.
That's right.
But what if it's like a belly button and gets stinky like a belly button because it's like just inverted meat?
Jen, guys don't give a fuck, yo. Stop assuming that men. It's all about the notch on the belt for most men. Okay? You know what I mean? Because guess what? If you sit there and be like, well, we kind of, smelled a little. Motherfucker, there's always going to be one dude in the crew be like, well, you could have just held your nose, nigga. You know what I mean? It's just,
Saint, you learned a lot about women. I learned a lot about men on the blog.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't assume that a lot of men have class, man. There's times when I told dudes like, nah, I couldn't hit me because it smelled horrible or whatever. Dudes was like, saying, man, fuck that, man. Sometimes,
Oh, that's what I was thinking. What Omar Vegatron said. He said, that's why this year he said, I still feel Bruce in me. It's the 10-year. It's the 10-year point. Watch him go back to being a man in 2024. So the video that I sent, Saint, like them trans people are old.
Mm-hmm.
They were old, and I felt sorry for the trans woman because she was like, she wanted to go back, but now it's too late. Like she was like 50 something or something. She was like, at this point, like to put my body through a detransition would be too much. So he's kind of like, now he's stuck being a woman because he did the transition, and that must be terrible.
I have questions on that because I'm like, well, why do you want to go back? What are you going back for? I thought I just have a lot of questions. I don't think that everybody makes the same decisions for the same reasons.
No.
You know what I mean? I think that eventually we're going to have a section of people that detransed, you know what I mean? That detransitioned.
They're all over. Look that up on YouTube. They're all over now. And it's becoming more and more and more popular. People are taking you through the steps of detransitioning. Detransition clinics, they said, are popping up all over in London because now this has become a problem that they have to deal with. The clinics and the doctors have to deal with detransitioning these people. And I just think sometimes that they have some sort of mental breaks or meltdowns. and they go to the doctor, and and a little suggestion here, a little feeling there, you know what I mean? And it's like, next thing you know, your body parts are chopped off and you're on medication. And then 5 years later, you're like, I didn't really want to do this. I didn't really want to be a woman, or I didn't really want to be a man. But there's some people that do it and they're like, nope, sticking to my guns. This is what I want. I'm glad my penis is gone. I feel more like myself now. And they stick to it all the way to death. But because it's becoming so common and just trendy, a lot of these kids are doing it. I mean, it's trendy. I saw 3 lesbians all standing by each other. I don't know if you saw the picture, but it was 3 studs. And they were all standing there proudly, bandaged right after all 3 of them getting their boobs cut off at the same time. You know what I mean? This body mutilation is the new tattoos. Like back in our days, it was like, ooh, you got a tattoo. Now tattoos are passe. It's like, ooh, you cut your tits off. Let's go get our tits cut off. So it's crazy what's trending now.
It used to be big too when we were in, kids like the 80s and 90s. Women who were bisexual, that was like a huge fucking thing. You know what I mean? If women were bisexual, now it's like, okay. It's
right.
like,
it's like,
it's assumed that every woman done did the licky at some point in time.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm this girl, not this girl. Not for me. I will not be scissoring with anyone.
I guess this might sound whatever. I just never found lesbian porn that fascinating. I'm like, there's
really?
No, I just never got turned on by it. I'm just like,
interesting. I have an ex, that's all he looked at. One time, this was back in the DVD days. Yeah, and I was so mad at him one time, and we had broken up, and I went, and he had 2 DVDs, one in the living room, one in the bedroom, and I cracked the DVD, and then I put it back in the slot, and then I left. So I know he turned that shit on and was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, I opened that shit and was like, I cracked it and I put it back in there.
I'm very much a sadist, a sexual sadist,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's too sensual.
Like, and it's just like you're rubbing on each other, and you're like, you know what I mean? And there's like soft music in the background. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's like all I ever liked, but I do understand, like, there is, like, because you're seeing, it's usually too beautiful. You never, of course, you're not going to see the butchy. No guy's attracted to the butch guy. It's always the quote unquote lipstick lesbians, because you're seeing 2 beautiful women with beautiful bodies. Yeah. I mean, it works.
Yeah. Listen, he says, no way I could live without mine. No, keep your penis, guys, if you can. Go ahead and do that. Keep your penises.
Yeah, everybody. It's not animalistic. And, I guess maybe that's just me. I like animalistic shit. It can still be romantic and sensual, but primal. If that makes
Someone
sense.
said it's loveless. Porn is loveless. We have to do a stream on love. What is love? How did the concept even fucking begin?
Well,
do you need love for sex, or is that, you know what I mean? Because sex is for procreation. So did we invent love?
Well, yes, it's an evolutionary component, because, and I'll just say this one thing, and we can just get into the topic later. It's an evolutionary component because I did some studying on it. Essentially, once we became self-aware, the brain evolved to create this reaction, to create this series of chemical reactions that we call love, in order to bond 2 people together, with the
pair bond.
In order to pair bond, with the point being procreation and being around together to take care of children, to procreate and sticking around with each other long enough to, rear children and create children. Like everything, we're here for one reason and one reason alone. Like nature makes sure that we make people, we make more people. You know what I mean? We have orgasms because there has to be some sort of there has to be some sort of incentive on the end of this that makes us
But is that every living thing? Because every living thing has an orgasm.
Well, I mean,
I think every living thing.
I think that other living things, I think they're just following their instincts also. I don't think that they I don't know if I can't necessarily say that they actually understand love or whatever. I'm not going to say that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say
Yeah, but
that.
right, this is why we need a topic on it, because what do you mean? So then you mean the opposite is we understand love, but we made that shit up. It's a chemical reaction. It's a chemical reaction for
Absolutely,
survival,
absolutely.
right?
Well,
You know,
we labeled a lot of things that can be seen in the animal kingdom. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
that's what I mean.
We named a number of things. We
Yes.
said this is what this is. We compartmentalized a number of things because we have consciousness. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We create order. So yes, to your point, yes.
I'm not sure.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
Michael Sartain said, "We are hairless murdering apes."
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Yes.
We are.
True. But I want to say that I'm not sure that we're the only one that has these feelings that we label love. I mean, I think there are other animals in the kingdom that have higher functioning that show signs that, you know, can we interview them and say, do they love them? I don't know, but like mourning elephants, for instance, or you know, I think dolphins are very intelligent. They pair bond. You know, they pair bond. Now, is that just instinct, or, you know? But they're high functioning. They're very smart animals. So, you know, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I'm not sure that we're finding more and more. It used to be that humans were the only ones that used tools, and that got shot out of the water. We're finding more and more that things that we think we're the only ones that use language to communication. Maybe not. Maybe not. You know. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some higher level animals in the animal kingdom that have this. What we think love is.
Right, love is, right. We definitely have, because there's a lot of studies on love itself, and, you know, we call it love and it sells cards and diamonds and wedding dresses, but can it be a chemical reaction for survival, right? There are animals that mate and raise the children, right? The turtle goes all the way and buries the little eggs and makes sure everybody get back to the water, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of animals do things that we deem as, oh, look, the monkey cares, but maybe it's a part of survival. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe you have to keep this little monkey alive because the bloodline or whatever. And we stamped it because we could sell cards with it. Right?
The Howard Cosell reference just came up for some reason. Ron brought up Howard Cosell, the little monkey. He said, we the little monkey. I wanted to comment on that yesterday. I froze up.
Oh, look at the monkey go. Look at the little
whatchamacallit? I just lost my train of thought. Just completely lost my fucking train.
Love, there's many things I wanna tell you, and in a possibility, you look at me differently. Love.
I used to love that song.
Mm-hmm.
I broke up with a girl while that song was playing one day.
Oh, I hate that for you. Sorry.
No, I loved it for me.
Oh, okay.
No, I do. I was the one that got rid of her. Anyway.
Oh.
But
Black Lex, I'm sure she'd say different, but Black Lexicon says, yes, love is an aphrodisiac and energy. Yeah, we're humans are listen, my experience with humans and humanity, very obnoxious people, very obnoxious, very pretentious, very self-righteous, we're the ones I'm like, no, you're just a fucking hairless, murderous ape is what the fuck you are.
Well,
I agree.
In the end, in reference to our topic, the young lady did it for love.
Perhaps.
To her, she did it for love. You know what I mean? Because I guess she wasn't being loved enough, or she went somewhere to go get loved on. I have no clue. But somewhere along the lines, it had something to do with love and a penis and so on and so forth.
And you know what's funny? They said there was no this is me speculating. She said that no, they never touched her. That her abductors never touched her in a sexual way, and there was never any contact. I'm like, yeah, they should have did that. They should have did that grape kit anyway. I bet they would have found some foreign semen floating around there, just like Kobe's alleged accuser or alleged victim. I would have liked to check the DNA on them panties.
They found like 2 or 3 fucking versions of stuff.
Kobe's accuser, I'd say.
Yeah.
Put them
grand old time. She got a grand old night.
Put Carlee's panties under that blue lights.
She Yeah, the night in Vegas.
Okay, I want to see them panties under that blue lights.
As they
Right?
fucking
She
say.
had about 5 future NBA stars in her panties.
She was like, somebody's gonna hit. Somebody's gonna give me this bag. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I'm a clerk at the hotel, and y'all coming in and out of here, figuratively and literally.
One thing though, man, with the Kobe situation, when I saw the
Rest in peace, Kobe.
When I saw the white girl, I said, Kobe, no, man. You're gonna go down for this, man. This wide back, cankled. You know what I mean?
Listen, and she probably had the cankle nipples that Nose talked about.
The what?
The cankle nipples.
Cankle nipples. What the hell?
It's an old show.
It's an old show. We talked about the differences in nipples. And we talked about
Jen, real quick, I sent you, and I'm gonna send it to No Saint. I stumbled onto this genius of a show. You guys hear me on this if you can catch it on YouTube. It's called Bill Burr. You know what I'm saying? It's Bill Burr.
I didn't get a chance to. I was cooking. I couldn't watch it, but I will.
Yeah, it's Bill Burr, A Moral Compass. Now, the whole premise is that he's behaving like this guy in this garage, this jaded guy in this garage, basically speaking into a videotape, talking about life and so on and so forth. And you see like certain skits of what, you know, he's saying that's supporting his ideas. But one of the things he was talking about, the subjects was guilt. And he says that in many ways, guilt can ruin your fucking life. But guilt, if you feel guilt, it's a sign that you're a good fucking person. But he said that the main reason why that these fucking psychopaths run the world is because they don't feel fucking guilty. You know what I mean? That they'll kill any fucking body. They'll kill nice people and so on and shit like that. And he said this world is going to change when nice people no longer fucking feel guilty and kill all those fucking psychos. Yeah, he says
that's not going to happen.
You know, so he said there's been many times in my life where I said yes when I should have said no. I said no where I should have said yes. But guilt got me in the fucking ass. So on. And, you know, he was showing certain skits to support his statement. And it was real true. It was real true. It was real. You know, it's called Bill Burr, A Moral Compass. Check it out. Every episode is like maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So you're spending like maybe 30 minutes going through the whole season. You know what I mean? Or maybe even an hour going through the whole season. But it's hilarious. So check it out.
Okay. Oh, my Vegatron says, Kobe said a hole is a hole. He sure did. Nothing beats what he
said, man.
Nothing beats Arnold Schwarzenegger's
nah. That shit was a masterclass in life, man.
I was like, okay.
You know. And what's amazing though, that once he got on steroids, man, he was out of here, man. Because he was natural before and he was already, you know, built with those kinds of genetics. Once he got on steroids, it was lights out. He got tired
I was talking. I guess I was talking about the maid he got.
The maid.
The maid. No, say. You know what's crazy about the maid is that he had to step outside of the relationship to make a copy of himself. Those other kids, man, they were just like
right.
Those are Kennedys. Those are Kennedys.
That was the first time I didn't realize that his son. Like that was the first time I think I saw his son was in that documentary, and he looks just like him. I was like,
none of his genes. They got none of his genetics, man.
But that was his fault, though. That wasn't Maria's fault. That was his fault because the man is the one that determines. But them Kennedys got strong genes, I guess.
Yeah,
and the way she confronted him about it, like they were at a therapist's office.
Oh, I know.
And the therapist was like, Maria wants to ask you something. And she was like, is that your son? So that means the little motherfucker was running around with the and she was probably like,
can you get me some water?
Right.
You know what's that reminded me of the Meet the Fockers with with the maid and Ben Affleck, Ben Stiller, and all of a sudden they show the boy and it looks just like Ben Stiller or whatever.
No. But Maria, she asked him that question because this is the thing that women do. They fucking know. They just want to hear you fucking say it.
And she didn't even ask it. The therapist asked him. I was like, if she was Puerto Rican, he would have been stabbed every which way.
But I will say, when
that kid, you could not.
You can't deny it.
I mean,
but I will give Arnold
at his age.
What I liked about that documentary is I learned more about the person. And even though like everybody messes up, so yeah, he has flaws. I like the fact that he owned up to it and didn't try to deny it. Because a lot of people feel that pressure and you're just like, but he basically, he owned, and that was with everything he did, it was like, wow, man,
but I think you have that luxury when you have that level of success and that level of money. Who the fuck is going to tell you, oh, look what you did? Who's going to tell Arnold Schwarzenegger who's done? You know what I mean? That's for like regular people that work at the post office. Don't point the finger at me. I had a right to do. He's Arnold. It's like, what are you going to tell me? That's going to bring me down a notch from my $750 million.
No, I get that too. Yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying like the fact that he was put on the spot like that, he didn't blink. He just...
And I was waiting to see, because let me tell you, as a woman, I was like, I watched episode 1, I watched episode 2. I was like, when you gonna talk about that bitch? I'm waiting. And then the last episode, he went into it. But I cringed when he said, he was like, it was my fault. I caused everybody pain. I caused Maria pain. I caused my children pain. I caused the boy, him pain. And I was like, you better not say that bitch. You better not say that bitch. And he fucking did. He was like, I even caused his mother pain. I was like, fuck that up. Fuck that up. What's wrong with you talking about you caused that pain? I whole knew you were bad. Fuck that. No.
Damn, man.
No.
God damn, man.
With the amount of money that Arnold got, I'd have been like, you're going to get rid of her, right? We'll raise this rugrat, but you're going to get rid of her, right? Because she can no longer exist.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yo.
Stop her clock.
Come on, man. God damn.
You think I'm going to live on the same planet as the bitch that had my husband's son that looks like him? No. Yeah. How?
Like him.
With the gap and everything, like, she must have been watching that little boy like the second year, the third year, the fourth.
Come on now. By the time he hit puberty, it was like, oh nah, this ain't gonna happen.
But she didn't even have the cojones to confront him herself. Like literally, she told the therapist to ask him. Maria has a question and she wants to know, is such and such yours? What? No.
That motherfucker, he sat there. He wasn't really remorseful. He just really like, it happened. It's happened. I felt sorry for Maria.
I caused everybody. I caused everybody pain.
And it happens, And
I think he felt bad about hurting his children.
I think he likes that son better.
Of course he does. But
I see him with him.
He works out with him. He doesn't work out with the other ones.
Well, Jen, have you seen the other ones? One is built like
Maria. They could have worked out. Yeah, they could have worked out. He still didn't work out with them. He still didn't, The other kid is more his dad.
And I don't think he saw them as probably masculine enough. I think he probably saw them as,
Probably those are Kennedys. Those kids are Kennedys. They're not brolic.
The other kid, his mother's. He most likely. I'm gonna say he grew up on the rough sides of New Amsterdam or some shit. But he's not a Kennedy. You know what I mean?
He's not a Kennedy, and he grew up very well. Maybe not his trifling ass mama.
Right.
He grew up. His dad is.
I'm sure he wasn't fucked up. But it's similar.
No, not at all.
You see similar features. He can build him. I'm sure he sees himself, a younger version of himself. There's that bias, and I think I'm sure that there's jealousy from the other boys.
Oh, there's one that doesn't even talk to him anymore. And there was one that changed his last name from Schwarzenegger to, I think,
What?
Shriver. Yes. When this first hit, one of his sons changed his last name. So that's what I'm saying Arnold's an asshole. He lives a certain way. And that's why he's so successful. Because he's like, yo, if I can't control it, I got to keep it pushing. That's why he's so successful. But I have a feeling he felt hurt that he hurt his kids.
You changed your name to Shriver. This other one's a Schwarzenegger anyway.
That's not a man's name. Why would you change your name to a woman's name?
Right. Yeah, but one of his sons was complete. And you notice they only showed two of his kids, the daughter. They showed the daughter, like them boys was not
like with the daughter, like the boys.
Yeah, them boys were not. The boys are like, fuck you.
Wow.
Like you had this little motherfucker in our house. It's not like the bitch lived in another house. You got the little one in the house eating sandwiches with us, walking to the maid quarters. Like, that's a heavy violation.
And Arnold, like somebody said in the chat, Arnold grew up rough, man. Arnold, so that's why he's so disconnected with certain things. Like Arnold grew up rough. I mean, he had a Nazi father. I mean, this motherfucker.
Like the other brother better.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But he said the other brother couldn't. He was softer.
Yeah.
Softer, you know what I mean? He couldn't
artistic.
Really
he was artistic.
Yeah. I mean, he was softer. So the weight of the world really crushed him. You know what I mean? Sad shit. But I didn't. Before the show, I didn't know he had a brother. He never talked.
No,
me neither.
I had no idea.
I never knew he had a brother, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And obviously he was just so disconnected from.
I mean, but I love that thing. I would watch it again because it's like a good book. I mean, but it's a testament when you look at all the people who are successful on that level. They all have the same fucking MO. All of them. Every single last one is like, no fucks given. Life happens. I'm not going to dwell. I got shit to do. You will be all right. People die. That's what happened. They all have the same exact.
You're right. You're born with that. That's nothing. Like his brother didn't get it. His brother didn't have that gene or whatever. You're right. People are born like that. And the people that make it to the top of their fields in competitive things normally have that.
They really, really do.
Look, because at the end of the day, someone's going to get eaten. It's either going to be you or that other person, man. You know what I mean? And a lot of people
but think about it, Haran. Think about you saw it. I was thinking to myself, wow, at a time, listen, growing up, I had Janet Jackson on the wall. I did have Andre Agassi, and I used to get wrestling magazines. But just think, like, back then when he was doing all that, he had all these guys working out. His dad thinks he might be gay. Mm-hmm. His dad is discouraging him, and yet, that's what makes people like that special, because when your dad is telling you, and the same thing happened to Howard Stern, told him, what do you mean? You don't even talk. You don't sound like you should be on the radio. You're a moron. But they go ahead and push through and and want to impress their dads, which is crazy. Their dads sit there and browbeat them mentally.
I'll show you.
Yeah. And basically, but they have that drive, and then they still have that compassion for their dad, even though their dad was trying to crush their dreams.
Anyone, this is the most bullshit comments I've ever fucking heard in my life. Look, anyone who sits there and be like, well, the only competition that I have is myself. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. If you don't wake up in the fucking morning and say to yourself, I got to be the baddest motherfucker in this room, I won't leave until I'm turning every head in this motherfucker, then you're not really ready for the top.
That's correct.
Because being ready for the top means that you have to be willing to beat every other bad motherfucker in there. You know what I mean?
And that's why,
they want to sound cool and be like, I'm only in competition with myself. They're like, yeah, but you're not competing with yourself when you go on stage, stupid. So stop that shit. And another thing too, like you have to. I'll be frank. Look, and I think I said this to Jay. A lot of things in my life, I think I was able to get to where I am in my life because I don't necessarily live in the moment, even though I know that the moment is going on. Let me explain. A lot of times people tell me that even like a lot of times, even when I'm with women, they say one of the things that they used to hate about me is that I'll be present. I'll be present physically, but I'm not there. You're always in your head. And then to make it in this world, there has to be some degree, at least for me, there has to be some degree where I'm disconnected from all this shit that's happening. Because if you allow yourself to really immerse in what is really happening and what's going on and all the goddamn bullshit and nonsense and so on and so forth, and you allow that shit to affect you, that shit is going to cripple you, man. People are going to have you scared to come outside, have you scared to do this, have you scared to do that. You have to see all this stuff and have a sense of disconnect from it. You have to be desensitized to some degree, man. Because if you're not, if you're so sensitive and you allow yourself to be cloaked and all this other and all this bullshit, it'll destroy you, man. It'll fucking destroy you, man. And that's what I saw on Arnold's face. I saw on Arnold's face where he was just like, the shit would happen and he'd be like, "Fuck it, let's go. Let's move on to the next shit, man."
Yeah.
Well, that makes the difference. I know we're gonna close out here.
Yeah, let's wrap up, guys, because I'm not doing 3 hours on talking about nothing.
Well, no, I was gonna say we're talking about things, but that makes the difference. And like you said, the person that doesn't say the only the person that is competing with everybody else makes the difference. You can put that in any industry, and that's why I always say you can have a really good football player, you can have a great football player, and the difference is the way they wake up and want to be. One person's going to be okay with just competing with himself, and he's good enough to make the team. The other person is constantly driving to be the best that he can be, and that kind of stuff. You're kind of maybe it's some environment, but a lot of it I believe you're born with it, or you're not.
Yeah.
I know you're bored, Jen.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Jen was opening up a Snicker or something. I heard a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm gonna make my protein and watch some shit on TV because I got some research to do. All right, guys. So thank you for holding me. 2 weeks. Y'all ready?
2 weeks.
You ready? You know what I'm saying?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I am ready.
I'm not ready. I still gotta set shit up. I gotta find a photographer. I gotta find a fucking photo. I haven't bought my nude underwear.
You find it.
Yeah. It'll all come together. I'm one of them crunch time people. It'll be fine. We got the most important thing anyway. So, which is the crib.
It's true.
All right, guys. Thank you for holding me down, chat. Come back tomorrow. Lily's return will be tomorrow. Lily will be back with us. This was an interesting conversation, though. It's just sometimes I'm like, we're veering off, people getting bored watching. Because sometimes I'm like, what are we talking about? All right, guys. So I will see you tomorrow. Let's see what pops up tomorrow. Tomorrow's what, Thursday?
Shit.
Already.
Yes.
Time is going to go like this now that we got something to do August 2nd. It's going to go like this. All right, so I'm done with Carlee. Ooh, do the ring light. Kobe. All right, guys, good night. I'm getting delirious. Good night.
Good night.
See y'all tomorrow. Love y'all. All right, guys, please hit that like and subscribe for Mama on your way out the door. Okay, don't forget to support the show if you enjoy the content. Cash App on the Blizzak with Jen scrolling at the bottom. Come back tomorrow. Like, subscribe. Let your people know about the block. And also, you are always welcome to cam up with us. Have this conversation on camera. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you for holding me down, chat. See y'all tomorrow. Hopefully, be good. And if you can't be good, be careful.